Good evening, everyone. I want to call to order the regular meeting of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, October 9th, 2025. I'd like to invite Danny Lance, pastor of True Life Church, to come forward, provide our invocation, and lead us in our pledge. If everyone stand if able.
Heavenly Father, we begin by just saying thank you. Thank you for your love, your grace, your mercy. Thank you for caring about each and every one of us. And we thank you, Lord, for this tremendous set of leaders that our city is blessed to have. We ask your blessing tonight as they meet, Lord, that you would give them wisdom, you would give them courage. Lord, you would give them peace. We pray for their protection, for the protection of each and every first responder and other employees of the city that serve this local community. We just ask your blessing, your mercy, your grace, and your love, your comfort, and your protection for each and every one of them. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Roll call, Ms. Dietrich.
Thank you. Mayor Williams,
Here.
Vice Mayor Tyler,
Here.
Councilmember Cagle,
Here.
Councilmember Ezell, Councilmember Witt,
Here.
City Manager Miller,
Here.
City Attorney Litchford.
Here.
All right, the next item on the agenda is our consent agenda. It is the approval of the minutes of September 25th, 2025, and the July 2025 financial report. I assume everyone has had an opportunity to review those, and I'll entertain a motion for the consent agenda.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Have a motion to approve by Councilmember Witt and a second by Councilmember Ezell. Do we have any corrections or discussions? I see none. Roll call, Ms. Dietrich.
Vice Mayor Tyler,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Ezell,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Consent agenda approved. We'll move to the next item. It's communication of citizens. This is an opportunity for a citizen to come forward and address the council with any questions, concerns, or accolades. Each person will have up to 5 minutes. Thank you, sir. And the first we have is Pam Whaley. Yes, ma'am. We've got your name and your address for the record, so you may go ahead and proceed. Yes, ma'am.
Sir, I really appreciate what you did to the house next door. The mold was so bad on there, that black mold, and it was making me sick. I appreciate the great job y'all did. It really looks good. The chimney, like I told Mike, is out of code, and also it looks like the roof is caving in. Also, there's been raccoons that goes up to the roof, and comes down in the house. Well, it comes down in the porch, I just don't want raccoons or stuff like that getting to my house. I'm just trying to protect the neighborhood. The grass, 3 weeks ago, it was supposed to be cut, but it's still not been cut with the flood and everything. I mean, some of the people are really working on their houses, to where they can get back in. But you got squatters that come up on a bicycle and go between those houses and looking around. All one has to do is just open the door. He's in the house because it's unlocked. So, I mean, maybe I'm wasting my time, and maybe I'm wasting y'all's time. I don't know. But, I'm just trying as a citizen to, a neighborhood is just black, and it's always been lit up, and have neighbors, and now it's just really bad.
So I'll speak for myself and the council. You're not wasting our time. We appreciate input, feedback, any insight that you have, because, we need 22,000 eyes and not just the eyes that are up here, and it's actually, employees. So yes, continue to bring things forward, and we'll address those as they needed to by code violations and things like that. So thank you.
And then one house won't do anything. One house, there's several people boys that lives in it, and they're hard workers. And they're having to breathe all this mold and everything. I mean, they're renting the house and nothing's being done about it. It's a white house. And they haven't done anything up on the floors or nothing.
And we already have those addresses.
I told her to get hold of Mike or.
So we have those addresses, and we're aware of those.
We have a lot of those addresses, yes.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, it's just the house next door. I don't want the animals getting into my house, and there's been possums out there and everything else. I've seen them myself in the back, not in my backyard, but next door. And it's just unreal that East Ridge would go down like this. And I know y'all are fixing up the park down there, but like I told Mike, I said it really looks worse. I don't know who's fixing it, but the poles are just crooked, and it's just, and you got a little bit of fence up in 1 week, and it's just, I could have done that myself,
Understand your frustration when you start talking with homeowners and their property. You have to go through certain protocols to make sure that things are within code. I don't want to speak for the codes department, but it just takes some time, and we have to just evaluate it. Mike, is there anything you want to add that I'm? Okay. So it just takes time, and just keeping us informed, and we'll do the best that we can.
I mean, I'm not a bad person, to report on somebody like this, but I'm just tired of it. Makes our property all go down, and it's just not right. And if you're not living there and you're a hoarder and you're just hoarding stuff in there, that's all she's done. She did get the water turned on, and the porch looks fantastic now, and I appreciate that.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your kind words. Keep us updated. All right, that's the only one that we had actually signed in, but if there's anyone else who'd like to come forward, now is your opportunity. I don't see anyone else, so we'll move to communications with council members. I'll start on this side. Councilmember Ezell.
At this point.
Councilmember Witt.
I would like to thank everyone that came out to the River Rescue Saturday. We had several citizens and the Eastridge JROTC, and without these people, it wouldn't have been successful. We had 76 people that showed up, so thank you to the city for helping us. We appreciated all the support we got, and look forward to next year.
Thank you, ma'am. Vice Mayor Tyler.
Nothing at this time, Mayor. Thank you.
Councilmember Cagle. Okay. So I have a few things. Yes, great to hear the River Rescue went well. Unfortunately, I was out of town and was able to attend, but I'm glad that it was a great event and a lot of participation. Also, I want to give big thanks to the city staff, volunteers, vendors, and definitely to all the families that came out and enjoyed the Fall Festival. It was a great event. It was our first 2-day event, and it was amazing. You got to walk a lot and got to view a lot of great vendors and food, and it was amazing. And a lot of work went into it. So again, thanks to all the coordinators, the employees, the volunteers, and everyone. It wouldn't have been that flawless without all this great work. So thank y'all. Upcoming, we've got a lot of things going in Camp Jordan, in the arena and other things. Just check out the Facebook page and Parks and Rec. There's so many I'm not gonna list them. I may miss some. But one thing we are doing ourselves is the youth indoor soccer registration is now open, and it's registration from October 1st to November the 16th. Our Christmas parade's coming up Saturday, November the 22nd at 6:30. That's our normal route, Germantown, down Ringo Road to Tombras. Welcome all schools, churches, clubs, businesses, organizations, anyone. You need to register by the 7th, correct? The packets are available, Eastridge Parks and Rec, slow down, Brian, com or reach out to Shauna at 423-260-9190. There's also the $300, $200, and $100 for school that can win, and then trophies for non-school floats as well. Then on Monday, November the 24th, 5 to 8 at Camp Jordan Arena, it will be our third annual Eastridge Community Thanksgiving. You can pre-register for the meal, not required, correct? But we do need volunteers, and we'd love to have, please come and register. This is an amazing, amazing event. Again, I can't speak enough about what we do in our community. It is a great time to fellowship and bond with others and have a great meal. So it is moved this year down to the arena due to the community center being upgrades. Then our library, I always have to talk about the library. So this Friday, Make It Spooky Teen Writing Workshop. So getting things up and ready for the holiday season, the Halloween holiday season. And then Saturday is the Novel Idea Book Club from 11 to 12 noon, and it is Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson, again, a Halloween theme. Then Monday is a family STEAM night from 6 to 7. It's where they'll have Wicked Fun evening for a spooky team night, hands-on event. That one you do need to register, so you can call 423-867-7323. Then the Thursday, the 16th, the Middle School Book Club. Saturday, the 18th, is the Chattanooga Paranormal Research Ghost Investigation from 11 to noon. Come listen to real live ghost stories and discover modern tools of ghost hunting. So the library is just amazing, all the events and the programs that they have. That is a free event, and no registration is required for that. And then they also are still asking for donations of candy by Tuesday, drop off by Tuesday, October the 21st for their Halloween event. I think that is all that I have, so I'll hand it over to, I know it gets longer every meeting, doesn't it?
Oh,
I'll hand it over to
I
Mr.
had
Miller.
to cut it back a little bit for tonight. I don't want to be long with the council. First off, I'd like to introduce Tara Veland. If you want to stand, Tara. Tara's our new event manager for venue 1921 at Eastridge. And she comes to us from the Choo Choo downtown. So she is very well aware of Hamilton County and Chattanooga and what's going on in the events scene around our area. Brings a wealth of knowledge of Hamilton County and Chattanooga, as well as the operation of event facilities. So welcome, Tara, and we're looking for good things from you, good ideas that you've expressed to us so far, and looking forward to working with you. Okay. Update on North Mac Smith Road. The curb and gutter has started at North Mac Smith and Slater Road. That should be completed by the end of next week, as well as the driveway construction. Adams will continue working on the rock, laying of the rock to fill the voids on the east and west lanes of North Mac Smith Road. And then Tally will come in towards the end of this month, put down the base, and eventually move to put in the 2 islands that will be going in the center of North Mac Smith Road in front of the restaurant there, Cracker Barrel. So we hope we get this project completed by Thanksgiving time. That's what we're pushing for. Resurfacing wise, we were on Tomris today, resurfacing Tomris.
Got it finished too.
Did they? Good. It's all the traffic backed up there for a while, but we're moving. We're probably 70% milled and 50% paved, so we still have another month to do, get our resurfacing project done. Chief Usselton and myself attended a meeting of TDOT and Wright Brothers on work that's going to be done on North and South Terrace. This is all part of the I-24-75 split and the widening of the roads, et cetera, and we've all been through the hell weeks of North and South Terrace being constructed, reconstructed, dug up. Well, we have a couple areas on North Terrace and one on South Terrace where they're going to be getting involved with full depth repairs. That means they're going to take it all the way down to subgrade in certain areas and dig that out. This will be occurring on South Terrace between McBrien and Spring Creek, the middle of November. Don't have an exact date on that, but the middle of November. Since on the South Terrace side, there's nowhere to detour, so they're gonna go down to one-lane traffic for that period of time. So that'll be backed up for a while till they get that job done. On the north side, on North Terrace, they're gonna be detouring between Germantown and Belvoir, and then Belvoir and Moore. They have a couple areas in there that they gotta full depth repairs and then fill it up with rock and then base and then resurface. Let's see, John Ross Road resurfacing, that starts around the 15th of the month. Cameron, am I right on that? So they'll be starting at Ringgold Road and then moving south. And lastly, just want to advise everyone that we'll have our National Night Out is scheduled for Tuesday, October 21st from 5:30 to 8:30. We're meeting outside of the library in that vacant lot there. So we want to invite everybody to attend if you can. It's hot dogs and hamburgers, or just hot dogs? I'm sorry, you're right. Catered by Mission Barbecue. They're going to be doing that. So no hot dogs and hamburgers, but barbecue. Next year, we hope in October of 2026, we'll have our Venue 1921 completed, and we'll be able to have it at that facility. So that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Yes, and a warm welcome to Tara. Glad to have you on board and looking forward to all the events and things that's going to start happening in Venue 1921. All right, so we'll move to old business, item A, ordinance number 1233.
An ordinance of the East Ridge City Council to amend the fiscal year 2026 operating budget, ordinance number 1226, by changing the revenues and expenditures of various funds.
Thanks, sir, and this is the second and final reading. Ms. Qualls?
Yes, I made the corrections that I talked about at the last meeting. And then also, we were notified from TEMA, about a grant from 2020 that we're finally gonna receive the money. So, if you'll notice in the general fund, it's not balanced, but it's because the revenues increased more, and that's fine. There's no problem. We start with a balanced budget, but your hope is that your revenues keep going up. But that's it.
Thank you, ma'am. Council, I'll entertain a motion for ordinance number 1233.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 1233.
Second.
Have a motion to approved by Vice Mayor Tyler and a second by Council Member Ezell. Do we have any discussion?
One question.
Yes, sir.
What was that FEMA grant going to be designated for?
Well, we had already done everything. We had already spent the money. There was just reimbursing us. It had to do with COVID. It's
Oh,
just,
okay.
yeah, it's just took this long for them to close out it.
Any other questions? And that was the approximately 11,000?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's 10,000.
10,679?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so it'll just go back in and start, just into the fund balance because we've already spent the money. So it'll just help build the fund balance.
Awesome. Thank you. No other questions? Roll call, Ms. Dietrich.
Vice Mayor Tyler?
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle?
Yes.
Councilmember Ezell?
Yes.
Councilmember Witt?
Yes.
Mayor Williams?
Yes. Ordinance number 1233 approved, second and final reading. We'll move to item B, discussion of mobile food vendor ordinance. Mr. Howell?
Yes, good evening, Mayor and Council. So on the September 25th, 2025 City Council meeting, you guys review this and requested some revisions to the mobile food ordinance. Revision 1 of this ordinance helps to streamline the regulations to enhance consistency and safety and efficiency providing a clear framework for mobile food vending within the city. The revised ordinance is before the city council tonight for review and consideration following the incorporated of the requested changes. Key updates include establishment of operation and a 500-foot minimum distance from other food vending or restaurants, revised special permits allowing 1 to 3 days events, a maximum of 4 per year, prohibition of overhead seating structures and restroom access requirement for operations exceeding 3 hours. In your packet, you'll notice that there's revision 1, which is highlighted in yellow. That is the one that's been changed, along with the original one that's in the back of it for your guys' review and consideration.
Thank you, sir. Council, this is a discussion item, so I'll entertain any questions or discussions.
Well, so this, just because I've had a request for clarification on canteen truck, would this encompass like catering services? So like when I had a restaurant, I would get calls from drug representatives to come and feed various, medical establishments to, provide lunches for the staff there. Or like say when I worked for a motorcycle shop on Saturdays, they would have a caterer come in and bring a lunch from various different restaurants and buy lunch for everybody. So does that fit the definition? So like the catering, does that fit under canteen truck?
Would the caterer have a special truck on site, or would this be catering and then brought into the facility?
It depends, right? So like sometimes they would it's just like drop off food, right?
Yeah,
So
pretty much prepared food.
like prepared. So like generally when it comes to the catering, the food is
Yes, it's
prepared off-site, brought,
Yes.
and then, sometimes there would be like, when I did the restaurant, we would do lunches for the football team, and we would go and, I wouldn't necessarily drop it off, but I would, this guy wants a turkey sandwich, this guy wants this, but there's no money exchange at that point of contact. So this would not, qualify as a canteen truck, right, for this provision, right? So if I'm doing a catering, it would just, mainly I'm just wondering because, we have a lot of medical establishments here in town that do get drug representatives that come and buy lunch for their staff. And I just want to make sure that anybody that's participating in this isn't subject to this ordinance.
Right, and they wouldn't be with that instance, no, not for that type
Yeah.
of.
We defined canteen trucks, vendors that sell food that require no on-site preparation or assembly, other than heating and pre-cooked.
Sure.
That would be it.
Sure, and so but the canteen truck is a little different because the stuff is prepared off-site, but
Prepared.
there is a point of sale at the contact, right? They're selling to individual people.
Right.
You get the Roach Coach come in, you buy an egg salad sandwich and a bag of chips from the dude. It's a little different than say like a catering, right, where I'm just coming and I'm just handing it out to people.
That's correct, yes.
Right, yeah, because the service, right, is the differentiation, right? Because if I'm having to hand out food, I'm still serving them, but I'm not doing money at that point of contact. So
Well,
this is not considered a canteen truck.
The difference between your canteen truck is the fact that they sell food that has been prepared.
Okay, right.
On a mobile mobile food vehicle, on the other hand, is one where food is prepared, cooked, and assembled on site.
On site.
Those are the two differences on page 1 of 11 on the definition side. That's the distinguishing part between the two.
Okay, so like I'm not trying to belabor this point much. Just because I was a caterer for a while, say there's like I have like a salad bar, right? And then one of my staff is there fixing the salads on site. It's kind of food preparation, but the prep and everything was done off site.
That's true.
Right. So that's why I'm more concerned about that. Just because like I said, some of these caterings can be a little bit more involved, and the customers requesting this kind of catering can have specific requests, like your staff sit there and kind of not really serve the food, but you're putting it together. It's prepared off site. I just want to make sure that the caterings aren't being muddled in with this language here.
Well, if you're bringing up the salad, that's if you have these salads that are prepared at your place of business or your home or whatever it might be.
Yeah,
and
you're chopping the lettuce.
If you're chopping lettuce and do that, that's preparation. That would be under the mobile food vehicle.
Right.
You take a head of lettuce and everything. You've got all your food preparation there, and you're chopping it all up and preparing it right there in front of the people. That's preparation.
No, that's a little different, right? So the salad is chopped ahead of time. The vegetables are washed. The ham is cut.
Yes.
you know, but, I'm serving so that the portion sizes are adequate and the food stretches for the dollar for the person there right now. I'm just trying to make sure that, yeah, like I said, catering's a bit different animal than what we're looking at here. I just don't want to make sure that the language here is too broad that it encompasses like these kind of caterings that people could run afoul of this. Particularly like, like the motorcycle shop, which is now located here in town, where they have lunch for their employees on Saturdays, which is very nice. But good perk of working there. I really enjoyed that, and I don't want to make it difficult for them to kind of continue that tradition.
Yeah, I mean, we could write something into the ordinance as well if need be, referring to that, or we could leave it as is. Basically, if it falls out of the realm of you bringing a truck or trailer onto a site and cooking and preparing it there, then
Yeah, well, we have that, that's pretty well defined here.
it is.
So, yeah.
I mean, I don't think you're gonna have a canteen truck pull up and just serve salads.
No.
I mean, there's gonna be, if they have, sandwiches and cookies and other items, for example, soup that they have already made, and all they do is, pour it in a cup, that's a canteen truck.
So a question I would have would be, take for instance, East Ridge football. They have a different restaurant or person every week bring in food for the football team before the game. Do they fall in this somewhere?
Is it,
It just comes in ready to eat, just bring it to
that would
them.
be a canteen, that would be a canteen truck. Prepared,
I'd say, no, it seems more like a catering.
It's more,
Wrong.
it's
That-
more
they're
like,
catering to it. They're bringing it in ready to go.
Yeah,
just
the
handing
football
it-
players aren't paying money for each
Yeah.
plate, right? They're
yeah,
just
that's
receiving.
kind of more of like a Grubhub, Uber Eats. Somebody's delivering it and dropping it.
Yeah, barbecue down here would bring in 40 plates for the football team and the coaches.
oh, okay.
You got them in the back
Okay.
of your SUV and you
Well, and
haul
it
'em
might
over
be,
there.
it might be in a business vehicle, but it's drop and go.
Yeah. That's not anything pertaining to this ordinance, correct?
No,
That's
no,
correct. It
that's
would
not-
not be.
No permits,
No,
no nothing?
no, not in those cases, no.
Okay.
Yeah, or so maybe some language that would exclude these types of caterings, especially the one Mr. Azell's talking about where, we're bringing food on site and just handing it out. Caterings is defined as whatever you define it as, and we can talk about that at a later point, but, that this is specifically for mobile food trucks and not impacting like those types of caterings.
That is correct.
Okay, that would be my wish, if we could do that.
Okay.
Other questions?
Yeah, I've got one.
Yes, sir.
Says here you're gonna restrict the 500 foot from the brick and mortar store with the Parker truck.
Yes,
Is that gonna be to the property line, front door, back door?
property line.
Property line,
Yes, sir.
okay. So they gotta be 500 foot from the property line.
Yes, sir.
How about in the established territory where we're gonna have designated trucks event?
You talking about a shopping center?
Yes, sir.
It would be from the corner of the store, because you can't say the shopping center,
Okay.
property
From the
line.
corner of the store,
It'd be the corner of the store.
okay.
So
I'm gonna
would
give
that,
an example.
I know what you're fixing.
I'm gonna give an example. He's gonna be on the back street putting up his trucks for the catering thing. Yeah, I understood him in here that night. Okay, he's gonna bring in catering trucks. Amigo's got a back door that comes out to that back street. So, our catering truck's gonna be allowed to sit there then if we're gonna,
Are you talking about, Old Ringgold Road?
Yes.
yes, sir?
Okay, they're established in the district, they're allowed there.
Well, that's what I asked you, unless it's, that we're not putting this in the established districts.
We only had, this is only looking at the establishment of one district. It's on page 12 of 15 that we have, that's on the larger one, which basically has, this is the only overlay district that we've had. It says what's outlined in yellow is the district. They can sell anywhere in there. Otherwise, they have to adhere to the regulations, rules, and policies
Where
that
you
we've
at?
established. That's at the very end.
There's a second,
It's a second ordinance.
there's a second, section that doesn't have the yellow highlighting, and it's on page 12.
Yeah.
So all this colored area,
The yellow area. See the yellow, it doesn't come out as well as if we use blue.
well,
It's basically where
okay.
old,
Mine's not
wrinkled-
yellow. Is that yellow to you?
the-
Well, the dotted lines around it.
Okay. So this is,
that's Old Ringle Road. That would be in the overlay district.
That is the designated overlay district, correct?
The
And
only
so there is
designated
no distance requirements in the overlay.
No,
It's only outside that.
outside, yes. Now, this is the only overlay district we have proposed. If the council wants to add more, you have that authority to do so.
And I think that overlay district, when me and Scott discussed that, because the abandonment of Old Ringo Road and with the Urban Story Ventures describing that as a food truck alley as what their future
Yes.
purpose is for it, that would be a great example of a overlay district, yeah.
Right.
So that'll answer your question, Councilmember Cagle? Okay.
yeah, I was looking to see if anything else marked in here.
Anyone else?
Yeah, that answered that question.
Anyone else? So kind of down the same lines, and maybe I missed it. If you've got let's say a food vendor, and they have a trailer mobile unit, and they bring equipment to cook, and they offload it and they cook it there at a facility, where does that fall within this?
Mobile food vehicle.
Mobile food vehicle.
It means any enclosed unit, truck
Right.
or trailer that is roadworthy, has a valid motor, that food is prepared, cooked, assembled, or stored with the intent of selling food to the public.
Okay,
So if you have a trailer and you bring all that stuff and you unload all that stuff, you are a mobile food vehicle.
okay.
Page 111, page 1 of 11, sir.
Yeah, well, I'd see 2 of 15 on the other one. So yeah,
Okay.
1 of 11, I see it there, yep, and I see it on 2 of 15 on the next document. Okay.
So in relation to the 500 feet, that's almost 2 football fields. That's pretty far.
Yeah, I was thinking.
We proposed 500 if you want to lower it to 200, if you want to increase it to 7. This is only, we took what Mike and I sat down and we reviewed everything. We took the comments that council had from the last meeting and any others that had it, and put it all into one. So it does not have to be 500.
Sure,
You
the
put
distance
it in-
requirement's well taken, and I can appreciate the sentiment behind it,
Yep.
but it's hard to drive 2 football fields worth on Ringgold Road and not run into a restaurant. You know, you got the large parking lot down there at the old Bilo, which is, I think, the flea market now. You know, there's a Wendy's at the foot of that parking lot, and then, you know, that's a pretty large parking lot. I mean, if you've got food trucks over there by the flea market, you know, that's a considerable distance away. I mean, my main point is 500 feet is considerable. I mean, maybe we could think to shorten
You
that a
want
little.
it's up to the council on that. That's your decision. We just offered a number. We were thinking about it, we were talking about what should we look at, 1,500, 1,000, 200, 500?
Hey, man.
It's so varied because.
gotta start somewhere,
of
right?
Conversation
Yep.
that we've had with the council, what do you, as a council, feel is fair? 200, 500?
Yeah, when we,
About to the discretion of the city manager.
No, that ain't gonna happen. Thank you for your support. I don't want to be in a hot box on that one.
I just thought I'd throw it out.
I know.
yeah, the 500 seemed like a pretty good number. We originally took some, I think it was around 1,000, Scott. I pulled from like the new Whataburger site, And roughly from Whataburger to like Chick-fil-A was around 1,000 feet to give you kind of a distance.
You've got a
measurement for
lot of
that.
restaurants from
Yeah.
exit 1 all the way till McBrien Road. It's filled with restaurants. Actually, you can actually say to Marlboro. You've got restaurants every so many hundred feet. From Marlboro going west, few restaurants. But you've got an awful lot of vacant properties, awful lot of properties that have nothing on them, parking lots and so forth, between Marlboro and exit 1. And don't necessarily want to start having food trucks taking those advantages of utilizing private property, move in, sell, collect their dollars in the middle of 4, 5, 6, or 7 brick and mortar stores that are paying property taxes. It's taking business away from them. We've seen it up and down on Ringgold Road.
I
But you
don't
go
know
out,
that there's
But-
500 feet anywhere away from a restaurant.
You're
Because
right.
I can sit and tell you, after Marlboro, what comes next, you'd have Mas Tequila sitting right there, and then right up there, this side of John Ross, you got 2 more restaurants in that bit.
okay, but going out towards Germantown, how many restaurants you have out there?
You got one right there, it used to be the old breakfast place that Quintrell used to have.
Yeah, that's another, yes.
Well,
Restaurant right there, and then go across the street and up, and there's Migos. I mean, I don't know that you got 500 feet
Right,
anywhere.
and then to Food City to have a truck that sells barbecue out there, and that's not even 500 feet from the Little Caesars over there.
Germantown, when they get it built back, you got the one next to the tire shop.
Yeah. And,
So we need to look at that a little bit different.
yeah, I agree. I do think there's just some distance, but 500 does seem
okay.
large. But keep in mind too, there's a restriction of the number of permits that can be issued. Is that not correct?
Permits, enough, there's a, I don't know, do we even put it?
Do we have a limit?
What's a
We have
restriction?
no more than one on a property.
During the last
That's
council
true,
meeting,
But you could have,
It was like
if you lower this to 100 feet, you could have virtually every 100 feet on Ringgold Road that has a vacant property, you could have a food truck on.
I believe during the last council meeting, Mayor Williams asked if we could put a cap or something on that for special event. And
Special events, yes,
yes.
but not the number
Oh,
of
okay.
food trucks we have on a
No,
Saturday.
no, I wasn't saying the number of food trucks. I'm talking about the number of special events. So you
Oh,
don't
yes,
have, so you don't have a reoccurring every
No,
weekend,
we
one
limit-
setting there at
yeah.
the same
We
place.
limit that to 4.
That's what I
yes.
thought. Sorry, I didn't ask the question correctly, but
Yeah.
that's where I was going.
I thought it was.
So it's not something that's gonna be a reoccurring week after week after week.
The same person at the same,
Correct.
but then again, you could have the same location, you can have a myriad of 12 guys that just rotate it on a property. As long as they don't do more than 4 in a year.
Play in the game.
Huh? The ways to get people in a,
So you're saying if you had 12 people at the same property, one could do 4 and another could do 4 and another could do 4?
there's 48 out of
So-
52
so why do-
weekends a year.
So maybe you might want to word it back to
The
one property
location.
can't have more than 4.
The location and not the vendor.
Okay, okay,
Are we
All right.
talking about the special event permits?
no,
Okay,
well, are we?
We're talking about permits in general.
Right.
okay.
They can call it what they want.
Because we have them limited to.
And that's outside the district.
Yes,
Overlay.
No more-
district doesn't count.
No
Right.
more than 4 on a single property in a year.
That's correct. And the way you'd keep up with that, I assume, is by the permit, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, everyone that's out there selling food as a canteen or a mobile food vendor has to get a permit. Application has to file. It has to be paid. And that permit's good for a year.
That's correct.
All right, so we've skipped over the footage, so we want to go back there?
Yeah. I think we should. I wouldn't want to vote in 500 feet and just work on it from there. That needs to go away.
You want to go 200 feet?
That's a good start.
I
would
say
start
200
there.
is a much better start for me as well.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, because personally, like, you know, once again, I'm gonna keep drawing back to my experience as a restaurant owner here. Because we would have food trucks that would pop up in the Publix parking lot next to us every now and then, and I never really saw these people as a threat to my business. You know, I would just run a special on Facebook and try to draw more people away from there. But I mean, you don't have the same kind of customer. You know, the food truck's a different customer than a sit-down restaurant, and then their food's more expensive typically than what you're going to get at a fast food restaurant. And the convenience is you have to get out of your car. It's a little less convenient than a fast food restaurant. To me, market forces should dictate this kind of thing, right? I mean, if you guys want to put in a distance, which I'm fine with as a concession, but I mean, 500 feet is really far and 200 is better, but I mean,
Well,
how far is 200 feet? My spatial awareness on this is not very good.
Just say 4 lots, 4 neighborhood lots.
About 60 yards, how about that? Use that as an example.
60 yards is
180 feet.
180 feet. That's
Okay, now
200.
football, now that works.
62 and a half yards, you know, come on.
Yeah, football math works a little better for me.
Yeah.
Let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to math it out of my brain. Oh yeah, so 75 yards.
Theoretically, if you was sitting in Amigos parking lot, you could be cooking in Jones Memorial Kitchen. I don't believe that's 200 feet.
Yeah, for a reference, if you went off the corner of this building to the back of the Speedway, that's exactly 500 feet. So half of that or less than. So you're looking at probably just maybe the middle of Pioneer Park.
Yeah.
Yeah, roughly that.
Yeah, that sounds about
So,
right.
yeah, so, and City Council
Feet.
wishes to keep that.
Feet.
Right, wishes to keep the 200 feet from the property line and from any other mobile food truck in operation. Is that correct?
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, that's a much more realistic number, just because of the sheer volume of restaurants we have on East Ridge. And I know people get tired of, another, you know, see on Facebook, another chicken restaurant, man, you know, and I get that. But so choice, market forces, let that stuff dictate really kind of this stuff. I mean, like a food truck customer is a different person than a sit down or Amigos customer or a McDonald's customer. I mean, it's just offering more options for the people that visit East Ridge. Helps us capture that transient dollars, whether they're going to get gas or stop off at the food line to get something to take home with them. You may see some business, brick and mortar, will lose a little bit of money. But I mean, it's just going to make them better. They're going to have to look in the mirror, do a better product.
Well, then when you restrict it to a certain number.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But it's been my experience working for the cities I've worked in, that it can be a drastic reduction of your brick and mortar stores, and put some of them out of business.
Okay.
When they go out of business,
Yeah.
you lose not just the sales, but you could end up losing the value of that property.
Well taken.
And that's why I wanted to discuss some type of limit. So it does put some, you're not there every week, a food vendor right there next to a brick and mortar every week. You can have a certain limit. So if we do it by location, it can only be done so many times per
you
year.
said no more than 4 on a single property, so.
Correct.
Unless, of course, they meet the criteria in there where they're actually outside the store, off the street.
Run that by me again.
It's I guess what you proposed earlier. Right.
Yeah, your proposal earlier. I think
Food
that's,
City was mentioned up here a minute ago. Now, they've got a sit-down eating place in it, so is that considered an eating establishment?
they have a restaurant inside.
That's a cafe.
Eating establishment?
So does the Mercantile down on, at the east end of the side. They have a beautiful restaurant inside
Right,
there.
so-
It's an absolutely gorgeous one.
The Garden
then-
Gate.
Yes.
Well, then, there go, we gotta be, well, I don't know what y'all decided on over a minute, guys, looking for this. The distance, I'm reading here, it says 500 feet, but,
We just offered 500 feet.
Yeah, okay.
I think we're down to 200 feet now.
the 500 feet is, so the Mercantile, so we gotta be 500 foot from the Mercantile, or 200 foot, whatever's decided.
Because they have a restaurant inside?
Now, they have an eating establishment,
Inside. It's part of
Inside.
it's part of the brick and
yeah,
mortar.
it's part of their brick and mortar, so it's
Yeah.
eating establishment. Cause I know a bunch of people go down there and eat all the time.
Right,
Same thing up here at the Food City.
yes,
And then there's a lot of people stop right up here at this, service station on the corner, walk in, get them a pizza, sub sandwich, and,
exactly.
right, so that's, to me, that's considered as a eating establishment.
But if the property owner allows it, that's okay?
It's part of your brick and mortar, they're operating.
No,
out
no,
of
I
a
understand,
brick
but
and
like, say
mortar.
the guy who owns the restaurant over there said, like, or the mercantile says it's okay, is it okay?
What if Wendy says no?
No, that's a good question. I mean, where's the property line of Wendy's on that parking lot exactly?
Their property line would be, matter of fact,
Where their
that is an
guardrails are.
established, yeah, that's an established, they're not part of the shopping center. They're out parcel,
Right.
its own boundaries.
Right.
They're not owned by Chet.
So it would go 500 foot from them or 200 foot from them, so it'd be hard to put a catering
200,
truck in.
200,
Yeah, 200 foot.
200 feet
Yeah.
from the back property line.
Mhm.
When,
There's a lot of these service stations up in here sell sub sandwiches and
well,
call them service stations because they sell gas.
to that point, I think that if the property owner is allowing a food truck on their property, I don't have a problem with it because they're the one that's allowing it. So if Food City, even though they have food established inside and they want to have a barbecue truck out front, they're self-inflicting themselves. So they're drawing people out of their own,
Well, they're selling
but
it
they're
out
still
of the
selling
deli
it there
back
too. So I don't have a problem
Yeah.
with a food truck being on a property that has brick and mortar if they allow it because it's their property.
Talking about
But
the
the reason why I
RDA.
brought that up was
It's a good
because of-
point, though.
Because of the 200 foot from their property line out there up.
Talking about
Agreed.
down by Wendy's.
So that's the reason why I brought it up, because it is.
I
an
understand.
eating
It's in
establishment.
violation of that.
Right.
Oh, yeah,
Okay?
warehouse, wholesaler, yes.
Right, the wholesale that we talked about, that would be allowed.
But go back to the Garden Gate. If the Garden Gate has the Wendy's right there in front of it, so that would keep it, even if the property owner said yes?
The Garden Gate is inside a brick and mortar.
Yes.
A canteen truck and a mobile food truck, they're not part of any brick and mortar.
Right.
They're not inside it. So, I don't understand.
Let me ask you a question. I won't ask no more, just answer this one, because I'm really not sure. Let's take Dennis Massengale's Smoke Shop. Right up here in front is Wendy's.
Yes,
Inside the Mercantile is that restaurant. But he wants to have a food truck come in and cater to his customers. Can he or can he not?
200
No, it
feet.
ain't 200 feet.
200 feet.
So you're saying he no longer can have that? I'm asking the question.
The regulations are set at 200 feet, and it's less than 200 feet, the answer would be no.
That's correct. I mean, we could possibly look at something where if you had multiple, eating establishments on one parcel, maybe that's something we could look at, and saying, hey, here's something we could do in lieu of having, 200 feet from your property lines. If city council wishes, I could look into that as well.
Well, I mean, the interesting part about that specific example is that Dennis is selling to people. I mean, so like, it's just added value that brings people to spend money in his establishment, which those dollars then go back to East Ridge. So we're not sucking money, we're just moving it to a different establishment. I mean, it's a good and an interesting example.
Okay, there is a solution to that, and the solution is set that side as an overlay district. You have the authority to establish the overlay district. You just established one for Old Ringgold Road. Establish that as an overlay district, and you don't have to worry about it.
And it should be, come to think of it, because
We got one.
I
in
remember
H.M.
when the dude was out front making all the,
Oh, yeah, they used to
cooking the
have,
popcorn and everything else out front.
yeah, pork rinds and all kinds
They
of
brought
stuff.
people in from everywhere.
Corn,
So we
corn
should,
cob.
that would be a good place for,
You could very well establish
Yeah.
that whole property, that whole shopping center
yeah.
as an overlay district, and therefore they would be exempt.
Would be done with it.
No, I like that
I
idea.
agree with that.
All right, we got it.
And I have one other question about the old Ringo Road. Many moons back, we voted to close that section.
Yes.
When's that gonna happen?
When is,
Can't you still turn left and drive down?
yes, you can still drive down it.
When is that gonna be blocked off?
So we abandoned it to the property owners.
Yes.
So it's at their discretion
Their
of when they decide to close that. He's probably in process of trying to get the full rights of the road. Remember, half of it goes to,
The neighbors.
yes.
Neighbors, right.
So he's probably in negotiations of getting the whole road so he can then do what he needs to do with it. Again, I don't want to speak for him, but that's just me guessing.
I would assume the same, Mayor,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, so we got another overlay district. So I hate to keep
That's good.
alerting, but did we confirm 200 or what did we decide on the footage of these gentlemen? Two?
Two's fine.
Two.
Okay.
Let's go with 2 right now.
1,000, that's what I vote.
What?
1,000.
I'd like to make a motion that we table all this tonight, because this going, if we sit here and go over item, we're gonna be here a while.
Well, I think we're
Let's
done.
have a special call meeting or, workshop to discuss all of this.
We're
Cause
not
I
voting on
noticed we got
ordinance tonight,
another one
no
back
way,
here
right?
for
We're just
discussion
discussing.
too.
Yeah, this is just,
Just-
this
No, we're not
is
voting on it.
discussion anyway.
We're only taking your ideas and
Okay.
going to,
Okay.
we're going to do another round of this. We can start.
They'll take this and they'll do another round of this, but to Councilmember Cagle's point, if the council's discretion is to have a workshop to discuss this, we can do that, or we can tag it on to one of the next agendas. That's something y'all need to, Let us know.
My personal points have been addressed already, so I
Okay.
have no further discussion until I see a version.
I say tag it along and we can discuss the changes and then we can decide.
okay?
Okay. So we'll make those changes, Mike, and then we'll bring it back.
Sir?
Awesome. Do I dare say any other questions? All right, we're gonna move to new business. Item A, ordinance number 1234.
An ordinance adopted for the purposes of amending the City of East Ridge, Tennessee municipal zoning ordinance regulation development within the corporate limits of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, to minimize danger to life and property due to flooding and to maintain eligibility for participation in the National Flood Insurance Program.
Thank you, sir. This is first reading. Mr. Howell.
Yes, Mayor and City Council, this amendment is strictly just for Section 3, Item B, which is updating the National Flood Insurance Program firm panel maps. There are 8 that belong in East Ridge, and they're just being updated.
Thank you for that short explanation.
You're welcome.
Council, do I have a motion for ordinance number 1234?
Make a motion to accept ordinance number 1234.
Second?
Have a motion approved by Councilmember Ezell and a second by Vice Mayor Tyler. Do we have any discussion? See none, roll call, Ms. Dietrich.
Vice Mayor Tyler?
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle?
Yes,
Councilmember Ezell? Councilmember Witt?
Yes.
Mayor Williams?
Yes. Ordinance number 1234 approved first reading. We'll move to item B, ordinance number 1235.
An ordinance of the City Council for the City of East Ridge, Tennessee to amend Title 8, Chapters 1 and 2 of the East Ridge Municipal Code pertaining to intoxicating liquors and beer.
Thank you, sir. This is first reading. Ms. Giles.
Yes, Mayor and Council. The Parks and Rec Department is respectively requesting that the City Council approve Ordinance 1235, which will authorize the service of alcoholic beverages at Venue 1921 at East Street. Again, Venue 1921 is a newly developed municipal event space, which we plan to host public gatherings, private gatherings, weddings, corporates, other special occasions. And at this time, we do not have an ordinance for this venue. As part of the ordinance, per the state of Tennessee, we will have liability insurance that will be covered by event users. We're looking to put together an approved licensed alcohol vendor list. Some of these requirements basically are in place to ensure that we have responsible service. We're in compliance with state and local regulations and safeties for all attendees, and it also takes a liability off of the city. We do recommend the approval of ordinance number 1235, to support the continued development and utilization of Venue 1921 as a premier event destination in East Ridge. At this time, I'm going to turn it back over to City Attorney Litchford, since he did write the ordinance.
Thank you. Members of the council, Mayor, just by refreshing recollection, Title 8 is divided into 2 chapters. Chapter 1 being alcoholic beverages, Chapter 2 being beer. Under state law, beer is not classified as, quote, a alcoholic beverage. It's in its own designation, has its own definition of beer. I prepared this ordinance because this is specific solely to Venue 1921. This is not applicable to any other properties. The venue, 1921 was created and designed specifically for the purposes of hosting events, and so it warranted its own section. All you're voting on tonight is kind of step 1, is you're approving this site for the sale, service, and consumption of alcohol and beer. The next line of order will be a resolution that will be brought to you. I met with administration today for several hours. They know what they're doing, and they know that they've got a packet they want to present to you all that would be a packet that would have approval from you, that would essentially go through the city manager, who will be the gatekeeper. And it's, for lack of better words, this city manager, for however long we have this venue, will be tasked with the manager or the designee ensuring compliance with all of the regulations for the safe coordinating and the production of a special event occurring at 1921. But this particular one tonight is just simply to allow the sale, service, and consumption, and then there'll be something brought to you at a later date after the staff has thoroughly gone through a packet. They're looking at City of Chattanooga, Franklin, there's a Bristol one. We looked at applications that contain all kinds of provisions that really work to the advantage of the city to allow coordination to be seamless, so that you're not having to turn away potential events due to the inability to get approval. The city manager can do that through the guidance provided by this council and a packet that will be approved by this council, but it'll be a pretty significant one. And I will go ahead and tell you, compliance with all Tennessee Alcohol Beverage Commission regulations is required. Compliance with the current existing laws related to the consumption and sale of beer, as well as anything you all want to put on there from a, can't serve it, in the parking lot. It's got to be, within the area that's designated as the pavilion, including the patio area. You've got an event staff here that have done their homework, and so that will be before you all via resolution. We hope at the next meeting.
Thank you, sir. Anything else? All right, council, I'll entertain a motion for ordinance number 1235.
I make a motion to approve ordinance number 1235.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Councilmember Whitt and a second by Vice Mayor Tyler. Do we have any discussion?
One question. So this ordinance right here has nothing to do with the people you're interviewing for bartending or not. This is just to allow it to happen over
Yes.
here. That's all this is.
Yes, yes.
So the next thing we're gonna work on is that list and.
The restrictions and requirements
Yeah.
that we want to put in
Correct.
place.
This is just
Yeah.
so we can have it there. That's all this is. I
Yeah.
got you. I'm good.
Any other questions?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, now we're adding Table 8, Title 8, Chapter 2 is amending by adding a new section 8-221 as follows, correct? The sale, the serving, consumption of beer says nothing about alcohol or
Remember, chapter 2 is all beer. Chapter 1,
Okay.
if you go back.
okay,
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, if you look on,
I'm just getting my clarification.
yes, sir.
Okay, now,
It's the same thing.
are we going to allow just consumption. You know what consumption is? That just means drinking a beer inside the venue. I wanna walk out, if you're not serving the type beer I want, walk out to my car, get it, bring it back in,
No,
consume
No.
my own.
no,
Okay,
No.
okay.
no.
Now, is this gonna be solely cash bars or open bars?
It will be both with how the state of Tennessee's laws read. You can, a wedding, like both of my sons that I had, were open bars that had a bartender that they required that was on their preferred list that I could only use because they were licensed and they were insured.
So they're gonna have to hire
Yes.
I
Yes,
said
sir.
bartender
Yep.
to serve.
Yes, sir.
Okay. That was another thing I had wrote down here.
When you're talking about the insurance, if you go back, part of this we're voting on right now is that all event organizers must have proof of liability insurance.
Yes, that's the people that rent our venue. But again, your bartenders, your licensed caterers, they all also have a COI, which would name the city of East Ridge.
Absolutely.
So that liability insurance wouldn't cover the bartender? In the
The
same way,
bartenders
I mean,
would be under a
I'm
company.
paying for I have to get the insurance.
Mhm.
That don't cover the bartender?
That's your event. No, it does not.
The event.
Bartenders have a separate one under a company where you do the COI for.
So they're having to hire out the bartenders. So that company then has to have the insurance.
We're going to have a list of approved bartenders. I don't know, we haven't.
We
have you
opened an
decided
RF.
4 or 5 or?
We got 4 yesterday. We
Okay.
opened one yesterday.
Okay, we'll have
Um,
4 that they can select.
But we may look to put it back out because we didn't feel that we got enough interest
Okay.
in.
I got you.
So that is something that me and Tara spoke about today because she was not here when we opened them yesterday. So we want to try to put out a broader range, even though I sent it out to over
Okay.
30-something
But they,
companies between
but
me
they'll
and
have to
Jen.
be on a list, whatever that list is, 4,
That is what
8,
we would
or
like.
10.
So, you wanna get married over there, if you have your own bartender, can they bring you everything that's required and show it to you
No,
to do it?
no.
You're telling me you can't have it?
You've got to select from our approved list because these people are vetted.
They would have the same paperwork, that's what I'm asking. They just wouldn't be on your list, but if you
It's up
had the
to
same
you.
paperwork and showed it to you, what would be the difference?
Tara, you want to
Yeah,
come up
Tara
and
wants-
address that?
Does this every day.
Sorry, thank you. Do I need to say my name or anything for the?
You're fine.
No, good, okay. Yeah, so I do want to just say, Councilman Azell, that I understand where you're coming from. I've done private events, I've done public events, I've done festivals, I've done everything that you could probably imagine when it comes to alcohol. So I've got a deep respect of that. I've also been the wedding planner that's had to make sure everybody gets everybody home. So I've seen both sides. The RFQ is out for staffing agencies as well. So you've got caterers and staffing agencies, and their job is to staff these kind of events. So they're gonna be like an umbrella, and then they're gonna have their stafflings on. So we've got some local folks that staff up to 40 different events, employees. So it's not just one single person walking into the establishment like me, saying I'm an individual bartender and now I'm going to serve these people, because we need somebody who's insured. So the liability risk is huge for a city, especially at a city-owned venue. So that's why this is so important.
But I think Councilman Ezel, don't let me speak for you though, but if you've got 5 or 6, but this party has one they've used in the past, but
Right.
it's not one of the 4 or 5, but meet all the requirements and they have all the legal permits and stuff,
Right.
would they be allowed, or do we need to build that into this? What is y'all's thoughts?
So I
Is
wanna
that where you-
make-
am I
That's correct.
saying what you're?
Yeah, so I want to make sure that we're using we're on the same page with language. So are we talking about an individual bartender? Like I've got a friend, Susie, and Susie is an ABC certified bartender, and I want her to bartend my wedding. Is that what we're saying right now? Okay, awesome. So is Susie also have liability insurance that can cover the
Yes.
levels of this size of a property?
Has everything your people have. Let's
Okay.
put it that way. She
Okay.
has everything, but she's not on your list.
Okay.
Can she submit it to you and be his bartender?
I think that's something that we'll probably have to take some space to look at. I don't think I have prepared to answer that right now, but I'm willing to look at what that might look like.
I can respond to you as far as past experience. We had a list in Leavenworth when I was there of bartenders, and we did not allow anyone else that wasn't on that list to do it for liability purposes. When cities get involved with selling, I understand what you're saying, but it's called the vetting issue.
It can get messy. I agree. It becomes like, you and I trust each other right now. We haven't met very much, but I understand that you probably have a good trust with them. But, we don't have that with every single person that walks into the door.
So what are the procedures for a bartender to get on that list?
So
No, please.
we already ran an open RFQ.
Okay.
We advertised it for a month, ran it in the paper, put it on social media. So right now, we only had 4 people that responded. So when me and Tara met this morning, we talked about trying to put it back out again and do a broader range to try to get some more people in, so we have a little bit more of a wider view.
So could his person apply?
Yeah, and I want to make sure when we're saying people, that we understand it's not an individual entity. A bartender, like a usual individual bartender, is not going to have the level of insurance that we need.
So they
you're
wouldn't
looking at-
qualify, so they would be out. So that answer would
So
be,
usually
they're not.
it's going to be a caterer or a staffing agency, right?
Correct.
So a caterer, if they have a catering license that can allow them to serve alcohol, then they are going to be a better fit for this because they're going to have the staff that can come in for the numbers that we'll hopefully have soon.
Okay, so.
Right.
And be
And the
able to
people
carry
that
the
you're-
insurance.
And the level of insurance that we need to cover,
And let's say you're using
multi-million-dollar
an
property.
ABC company that has bartenders. And they're on that list and they have 50 bartenders. You can have either one of any of them.
Yeah.
Because they're under ABC, is that correct?
Yeah.
I got you.
Yes.
So then if I want to have a wedding for my daughter and it's next year and the one that I've used in the past is not on your list, is there a possibility that they could then apply? Do we need to put a time frame that it has, so y'all can then vet through?
I think that's going to get
Or you need to
everybody a
get
little
back
more
to us.
work than they
Okay.
need to have. I
Or-
think,
I'm just
but
asking.
I'm not saying no, but I don't know
They
this.
can go down to ABC and get on their list.
Or they can sign
Yeah.
up with that staffing agency?
It depends on which staffing agency. I have a WIT staffing agency, as she said, you have 40 bartenders that are under them. So, the biggest reason, again, with Mr. Miller's experience from other cities, with speaking with him very in deeply about this, and then the city attorney, was trying to have that preferred list of people that were here local, that were licensed, carried every bit of liability insurance we would need as a venue, that again covered us as a city, but then that be our only really big preferred list of, we've got 5 or 6 people here, we've advertised it for a month, we put it out there. I can't make people respond to it. My responsibility I did was advertise it to protect us, but again, we only had 4. So we spoke this morning about trying to redo it and put it back out there and try to get a little bit more.
The only reason why I asked the question is because I want people to use it.
Because you what?
To say no because they can't have their own bartender, I want people to use it. You gotta pay for that.
I know, but both of my son's weddings, just saying, both of my
It's
son's
very
weddings.
standard to
Yes.
utilize folks. And I understand when you're out in a privately owned space that, maybe a barn at Druid Hill or something like that, where they'll allow you to bring in your own booze even.
Yeah.
Right? But then the trouble that you get into when you start letting people just bring people that you don't know or bring their own booze, it gets into a bit of a pickle. So I think there's some different opportunities to make sure that we're tight and we're responsible. as a
I
city
respect
for the
that
venue.
and appreciate that, but
Yeah.
I understand the question.
Okay,
Yeah. Okay.
that's all I got.
Any other questions?
Rich Winky, see?
All right.
Everybody knows I'm stingy, so I've got a tax question here, maybe for the attorney. All right, the sale of alcohol. The alcohol tax is gonna be based off of the big bottle or the shots?
The what?
I don't know if the tax are based off of the large bottle itself or off of each drink.
It'd be on the sale of the purchase, wouldn't it?
We would
We,
not be
we
selling.
don't sell it. The
Right,
bartender
but
and catering company.
they still, it's gonna be recorded as a tax, sales tax in the city. So we were going,
That's where I'm going. Is it gonna be based
That
off
would
of the
be-
ounce or is it gonna be based off of the
That'd be a
feel for the court.
finance question.
for the
Well, I
hospitality.
think the TABC has regulations that address how
Yeah.
that is treated, whether, I mean, if they're selling it by the glass and they're charging by the glass, they're gonna be charging per that glass. That's how the tax.
I assume it's gonna be the same as
They're not
in any
selling a
restaurant.
bottle.
Okay.
Right.
Then-
Yeah, that doesn't go through us because like, again, an open bar is,
Then at the open bars, we have to have one of your vendors to come in and sell the.
well, the way that we're looking at it would be
disperse the
either
liquor.
way. It would
to
be either way.
disperse the liquor. Okay. The open bar is paid for by the host or prepaid through some admission fee.
No, it would, well, it could be either way.
I'm reading this off of a state thing.
Yeah, no, it could be either way. So you could be based on us buying it, Kidney Foundation, and we're having an open cash bar and that was a part of your ticket. It can be either one of those. Go ahead.
But you have to get a special events
Permit.
permit through the state of Tennessee as a nonprofit to be able to even do that. There's a one-day special events permit that you would have to do to be allowed to resell alcohol.
Well, now you can get a special function for a wedding and do it just like she keeps saying there, and she can buy the booze and serve it and have to hire a bartender from one of our venue customers, or prepaid through an admission. I'm trying to figure out what the admission is. Is that what y'all are renting the?
No, that would be what, again, an organization that rents from us would put towards a ticket sale. So you have like the Kidney Foundation, for instance, or the Ronald McDonald House. They may offer a benefit that they sell tickets for, and alcohol could be a part of that, which is a mission ticket.
Okay, well, this is
But
just
we're
a
not gonna be selling
discussion tonight.
tickets.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not gonna be selling
Look it up
tickets.
again, but I might be wording it wrong, but I was looking it up, and it lists, it gives, for instance, a wedding.
It's a private event. If a wedding is a private event, then it is under a different stipulation than a nonprofit or a public event that is selling alcohol. So there's 3 types of events. I'm happy to help.
You have
get that out
private,
there,
public,
too.
and the 501c3.
Yeah.
Privates are your weddings, okay? So they're not advertised. The TBAC doesn't see them. You can have an open bar. You do not need a special permit for them. But then when you have your foundations and your 501c3s, according to how much they're, or if they're advertised, as the lady told us on our call with Jennifer, if they're advertised and they can see them, then they do require special permits from them that we have to give a letter of permission to. And there's a frequently asked questions from there that we can print off, or we can actually send y'all the link to it that me, Jennifer, and Tara both already have pulled up for those things that we can send you also. That way you can, it'll answer a lot of those questions that we've been, well, she already knows because she's done it at the Choo Choo, where me and Jennifer are now learning how all that works with liquor, or wine and spirits, you know.
Happy to get through those.
All right, anything else? Seeing none, roll call, Ms. Dietrich.
Oh, you're fine.
One moment, Mayor, sorry.
It's all right. We have our motion in our second. You got those?
Yes, that's what I was
Okay.
checking for, thank you. Okay, Vice Mayor Tyler,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Azell,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes, ordinance number 1235 approved first reading. We'll move to item C, resolution number 3744.
Resolution of the East Ridge City Council authorizing emergency repairs to the U Channels drainage ditch located on the north side of East Stump Street at 4201 East Stump Street, and approving the proposals from Brown Brothers Construction for completion of said repairs.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Miller.
Okay, thank you. One of the casualties at the August 12th 6.7-inch rainfall we had was a failure and collapse of approximately 100 feet of what I call concrete flume. And you've got a picture of that in your agenda, which one side actually collapsed entirely and laid on the bottom. And the side of the road is eroding also and close to collapse. We are asking the council to declare this an emergency situation and award Brown Brothers a contract, the amount of $60,700 to go in there and repair the channel as well as stabilize the one side of the roadway, and which would also be the one side of the concrete flume. If we get hit with an inch rain within an hour, and that's somewhat typical, that could end up causing more erosion of the roadway, as well as possible causing flooding issues upstream with those obstacles that are in the concrete flume now. The amount to repair and bring this back up to functionality would be cost of $60,700.
Thank you, sir. Council, I'll entertain a motion for resolution number 3744.
Make a motion to approve resolution 3744.
Second.
Have a motion approved by Vice Mayor Tyler and a second by Councilmember Witt. Do we have any discussion?
I
Did
just
that
have,
get into that concrete driveway?
I'm sorry?
Did that get into that concrete driveway? that they
No.
had-
No,
Okay.
that's the other way. This is the, yeah.
this is a dead
I was
end.
looking at the picture.
This is
I
the
didn't
dead
see
end
it.
It's a
port.
dead end. I went
Yes.
down and looked at it. The only question I have, if it would have been the other side of the wall, that belonged to the landowner, right? The landowner would have to fix it
N-
because that's, if it was on the other side.
Jeff?
I hadn't looked at, I'm sorry. I hadn't looked at exactly where the right-of-way is. I do want to point out that there's other sections that look like they are starting to fail a little bit, so the walls are coming in. So part of the recommendation that Scott and I talked about is to get some angular braces and to put those in there, and then, eventually, if we do a stormwater management program, something like that, then these will have to be identified. And there's other properties that I've looked at where we have large drainage, U-channel, 10 feet wide, 6 feet tall, where private property, there's water that's coming down, getting behind the wall, and wall is starting to cave in. And in a lot of cases, there's no weep holes in these walls. Those should have been put in a long time ago.
Right.
Part of the repair is going to be to add weep holes to the section of wall that we're repairing. But I think that question's going to come up because most of our conveyances are on private property.
Yeah,
That was
but
why
the-
I asked.
Yeah, according to the streets department, that whole wall is in our right of way.
That whole flume
Sir?
belongs to us.
Yes, sir. According to our street department, yes.
That's fine. I was just curious.
Yeah,
I went down and looked at it and analyzed and all
It's-
of it, and I said,
it's-
well, I wonder if it fell off of her yard side.
yeah.
Is it hers because the city don't claim it, or is it ours?
If it happened on the opposite side, it would be our
Her
property.
yard side.
Yep. Her yard side, it would be ours.
Still ours, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
If I may, that is a valid point because one of the ones that I did look at that, I'm trying to remember which one it is. It's down from where we made the repairs in front of the church, that concrete ditch.
right.
So you have a very large, U-channel that is all on private property. And the failures are occurring where water is coming off of that same property owner, getting behind the wall. So we don't have the authority really to go in there and make some really minor repairs, very inexpensive, just to regrade. But the question comes up is if we don't have the authority to do that and that property owner doesn't take care of it and it fails, then it's such a major conveyance, it can cause a lot of disruption upstream, flooding, and, a lot of collateral damage.
I'll just check.
It's one of the worst ones we've had.
I went and looked at it.
Any other questions? I see none. Roll call, Ms. Dietrich.
Vice Mayor Tyler,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes,
Councilmember Ezell,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Resolution number 3744 approved. We'll move to item D, resolution number 3745.
A resolution of the East Ridge City Council authorizing the sale of approximately 47 square feet of city-owned property to ERWD LLC and authorizing the execution of a purchase agreement.
Thanks, sir. Mr. Miller.
Yeah, this is the, that would be the northeast corner of Ringgold Road and North Mac Smith Road, where the new BB&T, where the old BB&T Bank used to be. Put the retaining wall up there, and about 47 square feet is on city right-of-way. And we applied a number of $50.38 per square foot, because that's what we paid for back in 2023 when we acquired the right-of-way from that property necessary to widen that road. So 50 times 38, or 5038 times 47 gets a cost of $2,367.86. So that's what we'll be selling this portion of the property to, ERWD LLC.
Thank you, sir. Council, I'll entertain a motion for resolution number 3745.
Make a motion to approve resolution 3745.
Second.
A motion to approve by Vice Mayor Tyler and a second by Councilmember Ezell. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, Ms. Dietrich.
Vice Mayor Tyler,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Ezell,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Resolution number 3745 approved. We'll move to item E, resolution number 3746.
A resolution of the East Ridge City Council approving the bid for the replacement of a portion of the roof on City Hall complex, specifically the portion of roof covering administration.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Miller?
Yes, this is the roof not above us here. It's in the administration area. We replaced several years ago the roof over the library. That was done earlier this year, and I believe in '23 we did the roof over the jail and the courtroom here. We're looking at those bids at about 4,400 square feet each. Those bids came in between $30,000 and $40,000. This one came in with a low bid of $81,207.67 from Quality Exterior was the low bid. However, we're talking double the size. The size of over the administration building is actually 8,800 square feet. So the bid is kind of in line with what we've done in the past several years in replacing roofs. This is the last section of City Hall complex roof that needs to be replaced. And we'll have a 20-year guarantee on this. So we received 8 bids ranging from 81 to $108,970. So requesting authorization to award to Quality Exteriors in the amount of $81,207.67.
Thank you, sir. Council, I'll entertain a motion for resolution number 3746.
I make a motion to approve resolution number 3746.
Second.
Have a motion to approve by Councilmember Witt and a second by Vice Mayor Tyler. Do we have any discussion?
Yes, sir. Who put on the other two roofs?
That was my question.
JDH, I know did one, they could have done the other.
No, AK Roofing did above the library.
AK,
They did above the library.
that's right, AK, okay, yes. JDH did over the jail, and the library was done by AK Roofing.
Which is who you're wanting now?
Quality.
But
Okay.
they're the lowest
So-
responsible
so
bidder.
My question is pretty simple. When they're tying into the roofs, putting it all in, who warranties the tie into the other company's roof?
They're separate.
There is nothing that ties these three
No,
together?
they're not, no.
Okay. I thought they did. My fault.
Good question.
Any other questions? Seeing none, roll call, Ms. Dietrich.
Vice Mayor Tyler,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Ezell, Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Resolution number 3746 approved. We'll move to item F, resolution number 3747.
A resolution of the East Ridge City Council authorizing the city manager to approve a change order request for the community center renovation and expansion project.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Miller?
Yes, I have, Michael, you want to come up, or Heidi? Michael?
Must be the roof
Hey,
night.
Michael, yeah, this is a roof night.
Yeah, it's a roof night.
We have this change order before the city council in regard to the roof system for the community center expansion. We're building a whole new roof on the expansion part, but we've got to bring it together with the old roof, so it has provided some challenging concepts that we had to merge together. Would also include the structural reinforcement that's necessary whenever you put any kind of coating on top of an existing roof. So, Michael, I'll let you.
Sure, yeah. So to kind of fill you guys in on, everyone in on how we got here, we've got the community center, which is about 30 years old. It's a pre-engineered metal building. Those buildings are great because they are engineered to have very, very little additional cost, very little additional weight. So when we first started the project, we brought a structural engineer. We hire a structural engineer. They come and assess the existing building. And when you have a pre-engineered metal building, once you bid the project, you also bring on a pre-engineered metal building subcontractor who also has an engineer in-house that has to engineer your design. They have to approve your design. So we have a roof on top of the community center. We spec'd a roof on top of the community center that once the pre-engineered metal building subcontractor was able to review it with their engineer, they had concerns with taking off that existing roof that's on the existing community center because it's a structural element of the building. So their suggestion to us was to, we had a couple suggestions, but the one that we think is the best is to put a new PVC roof over the existing roof that's there, and also continue that PVC roof obviously over the addition of the building. That was their suggestion to us. Our structural engineer also has to review this and approve. And because pre-engineered metal buildings are designed so tight, and this one is rather old, our structural engineer did not and could not approve of that additional weight on the roof without adding in additional structural elements to the building. So that's the majority of the costs that you're seeing here is to ensure that, you know, in any kind of extreme event, if you have an extreme snow event, I was here in Chattanooga when the snow happened in the old Sam's Club, and you had that old pre-engineered metal building collapse. And so, you know, you have to think about those extreme conditions, and we really think this is a great, it's going to provide a great roof that is, right now the existing roof is also has some leaking problems. So this PVC roof option is an option to really button this roof up and really make it tight over that new gym floor, which is going to be really nice. So.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Miller, anything else?
Okay, this was to do the roof. I gave you an addition that I put on front of your place tonight.
Yep.
This also includes 5 other change orders that are necessitated, which is an additional $85,641. Since Michael is here from H&K Architects, thought we could cover all the other ones that we have. If you have any questions in regard to them, we can only vote tonight on the 176,473. We can only vote on that change order number 002B, which is a PVC membrane roof system. The others will have to go on the 23rd meeting because it wasn't advertised on the agenda 48 hours prior to the meeting. We've got to stick with that policy. The first one was the demolition of the basketball goals. That's not a big one. Mike, you want to talk briefly on the fascia trim spray foam thermostat 003A?
Sure.
I think that was the 19,420.
Yeah, so as we, in an existing building, a lot of times the more you get into an issue, you might see some more. As we were having someone measure the structural system for the building, because we actually, the main structural system you can see, but there's something above that called a purlin. and it's covered up. If you are familiar with the community center, there's insulation up there, and those are all covered up. So in order to, we couldn't find original drawings for the building, so we got a structural engineer to go up and actually assess what's there. And when we did that, we found, when we pulled down that liner that's below the insulation in there, there was quite a bit of moisture that was up there contained in the space, which immediately concerned us. So we spoke to our engineers, our mechanical engineer on the project, and had a meeting with Pillar, the general contractor involved, and we all came up with the best solution to dry up that area that is in the roof would be to do some additional work, which is what that change order is referring to. So right now the community center has soffits that have perforations in them, openings in them. They're allowing air to come in that is very humid. So that air is condensing against it's condensing in that space where the insulation is. So the solution to that is to put a new soffit in that is not perforated, and fill that soffit in with insulation so that you don't have that air coming in. I think there's some other areas where there were some squirrels getting in and some other wildlife getting into the community center. We'd address one area of main concern, but that's also another problem with the soffits, is my understanding is that there's wildlife that is getting into those. So once we noticed that moisture issue, that started the conversation about stopping it, mitigating it, and that got us to that change order for that moisture control.
Okay. And then the next larger one was the perimeter foam, install new gutters and downspouts for $49,227.
The same thing for the upper, so the gym is it's the taller part of the building. So that was the $19,000, that first change order. The one that Mr. Miller just mentioned would be for all the low bays, doing the exact same thing. So taking out the soffit in there that's perforated, filling that entire soffit in with insulation. And because that part of the building was not originally a scope of the project, that would also involve putting new fascia on and new gutters and downspout. So those are two separate change orders. We do have the $19,000 one would solve the problem within our scope, which is the gym. The other one would be to button up the rest of the building that was outside scope.
You know, a lot of discussion based on all of these here, but if we put the dollars and get these areas taken care of now, when we're done with this project, the community center, we won't have to spend any more money on the community center for many years. And we also had an appropriation for basketball goals, which we're okay with, and then a gymnasium floor. You want to mention that one?
Sure.
Briefly,
Yeah.
that's the last one.
Yeah, so when the old gym floor was a membrane type floor, it wasn't a wood floor, it wasn't a concrete floor. And when that membrane was pulled up, it was noticed that the concrete below had too much variation. The gym floor installer determined that there was too much variation in the pad that was poured to be able to lay the system that he had priced. And so this is additional funding to be able to level that floor, that subfloor. That was an unforeseen condition by the contractor and by us, but was exposed once demolition started.
Okay. Does the council have any questions on any of these issues? The only thing we can vote on tonight, again, is the PVC membrane roof system for $176,473. I should note that the dollars of this would come out of the capital improvement fund balance. The capital improvement fund balance.
Question I would have, when this was all talked about to come about, and you had people bid on this work, how do you miss this? How do you miss the structural engineer part, knowing you're gonna change that roof line? How did we miss that much money?
Yeah, I think once we got into communication with the pre-engineered metal building manufacturer, and They made their suggestion on what the best option forward with, which was different from ours. The issue at that point was our structural engineer signing off on the proposed solution to move forward. And he couldn't sign off on that proposed solution without the additional structure.
I think what he's saying is, how did you miss it to begin with?
Yeah, how you
So,
missed this to begin
at the very
with?
beginning, I'm not an engineer.
Yeah.
How did your engineer not know that that roof would not hold up what we were
Yeah.
planning on doing?
How was that not questioned and not thought about before you get into the project? And now, to be honest, you pretty much have to do it. We're
Right.
stuck with having to do it because we've started. How did we miss this in a opening bid that we know was gonna be done anyway? How did we miss that?
Well, the system that we had proposed was different from the system that was proposed by the winning bidder. The system that we had proposed after the pre-engineered metal building subcontractor was on board said they said that system would not work with how they were assessing the building. And I think that's one of the hardest things is that when you have a pre-engineered metal building, typically when we do a project and we have a structural engineer, whatever they say goes, you know, if it's a new building or if it's existing building. But when you have a pre-engineered metal building, whatever they do, the person that comes on to work on that pre-engineered metal building, they have an engineer in-house that has to sign off on everything that happens. So when they won the bid, they wouldn't sign off on the direction that we had designed, which did not include the additional structure, but their proposal was to do this PVC roofing system. And I think it's something that they do that is done quite often on pre-engineered metal buildings. And a lot of times I think it's actually not really a structural engineer is not consulted. But because we are involved and we have a structural engineer, he has to sign off on that as well. So he couldn't sign off on just adding this PVC that was a different direction than what we had originally designed. In order to go this direction, we have to add in that additional structure for that roof system.
Let's think some way down the road here, it gets old on everything that comes before us that we're having to spend another $100,000, $200,000 of what I, from the field I'm come from, deem as stuff you should have caught. That's the only reason why I question this. Anybody would know if you're gonna change a roof structure, you need to look into the structure itself. That's a common practice, especially what I did for a living. It just irks me that we get stuck every time having to go ahead and vote it through because we gotta finish our building, but yet we're stuck with that much money having to come up with extra because of something that other people did not take care of. That's the only reason why I asked the question.
I want to know if I'm understanding what you're saying. You're saying that you designed it one way, and then the person that bid on it did not like your design, and they wanted to go with their design?
So the concern was taking off we need to leave that existing roof on there. That was the biggest concern. We had talked about removing existing roof that's on there. And that roof is structural. The roof that is on there right now is actually part of handling the structural load of the building. So after the bid, there was discussion about just adding this, just the new roofing system on top of that existing roof. But that started the whole conversation of we can't just do that. We've got to structurally reinforce this roof to be able to do that.
Yes, and if I may add, Jeff, and I'm Heidi Hefferlin, who stamps the drawings, and it's a different
Heidi,
animal.
can you speak in the mic?
Sure. The pre-engineered metal buildings are a different situation because we only design the foundation. Metal building companies design the buildings themselves. So we had an addition to the existing building, and we're trying to tie them together. And we specified that building and the foundations, but then the existing building, when the two tied together and the roof, the existing building wouldn't carry the load. And we tried to get their bidder, the metal building company, to take responsibility for that. They refused to sign the structural engineering themselves because they had not built the building. So you have a situation where we have different parties And we've worked really hard with the city manager and with our engineers and the contractor to try to come to this solution. It's unfortunate that it wasn't discovered before, but it's not really anything we could know. We're not allowed to engineer metal buildings.
I would just think that the people that go out and plan this bid had an engineer with them, because you were dealing with this structural steel. And that would have been, it'd been okay if the original bid, it had it in it because he knew it was gonna have to happen. But to get a bid that probably was the lowest one, so we take it, and then 2 weeks later find out we've gotta put $270,000 or $176,000 more dollars in because we didn't realize that roof would hold it, which tells me that the engineer didn't know what the hell he's talking about, so now we're stuck paying for it. That's the only reason why I brought this up. And it's not the first time this happened. It just gets old. Every time we're doing something, we gotta come back and add that kind of money over things I know they just overlooked and said it'll be okay, but then it turns out it's really not, and now we gotta go back and ask for the money. So, that's all.
Feel your pain. Any other? Well, I don't even have a motion. We got off on discussion ahead of the, so do I have a, do I have a motion for resolution 3747?
Make a motion to approve resolution 3747.
Second.
Have a motion to approve by Vice Mayor Tyler and a second by Councilmember Witt. Do we have any additional discussion? Seeing none, roll call, Ms. Dietrich.
Vice Mayor Tyler?
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle?
Yes.
Councilmember Ezell?
Yes.
Councilmember Witt?
Yes.
Mayor Williams?
Yes. So I'm gonna, I know we're running late, but I'm gonna ask the question. So lessons learned, what can we learn from this when we get a low bid and we have engineering, you know, and this can be an off, we don't have to bring you up and talk about it now, but I'd like your advice on how we can protect ourselves and learn from this lesson so we don't have this occurring again. I know when you start retrofitting old buildings and old things, you got things that come up, but this one's a hard one to swallow.
I have a question. When they're making these bids, do we ever look to see what it is that they're, the reason their price is higher? Maybe they said your roof isn't gonna do this.
The design specifications and construction plans are done by the architect. They're signed off by the architect. If an engineer needs to sign off on them, so be it, they sign off on them. And then they go out to bid, and they bid on that project. I think we received 6 or 7 bids on this, and we go with the lowest responsible bidder, which was Pillar Construction. But city staff and the bidders didn't do any of the design.
Right.
Design is done by the architects.
But I was just wondering if anybody was aware, maybe they thought the roof needs to be totally replaced and that's why they bid higher. That was just a question.
All right. We'll move to the next item, resolution number 3748.
A resolution of the East Ridge City Council authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into an easement agreement with East Ridge ALF Real Estate Investors LLC relative to a 20-foot electrical easement located at 1504 McDonald Road, tax map number 169M-M-010.
Thank you, sir. Mr. McAllister.
Yes, Mayor and Council. City Administration is requesting approval for the attached electrical easement that's included in your packet tonight for the property located at 1502 McDonald Road. This is in coordination with Resolution 3524 that was approved last year for the Exit 1 I-75 welcome sign. After we installed the welcome signs, we gained approval from TDOT to connect electricity to these signs, and unfortunately we were unable to connect the electricity to the welcome sign located in front of East Ridge Life Care Center. At that time, we hired an electrician to come out and look and see where we could pull electricity. EPB notified us that the closest electrical box was located on the Life Care Center of East Ridge's property, And at that point, we requested ASA Engineering to draft an electrical easement and send it over to the Life Care Center of America to approve. And we finally received that easement after 9 months of coordination back and forth. And so we're bringing it to you tonight for approval so that we can get our new signs lit up.
Thank you, sir. Council, I'll entertain a motion of resolution number 3748.
Make a motion to accept resolution number 3748.
Second.
Have a motion to approve by Councilmember Ezell and a second by Councilmember Witt. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, Ms. Dietrich.
Vice Mayor Tyler?
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle?
Yes.
Councilmember Ezell?
Yes.
Councilmember Witt?
Yes.
Mayor Williams?
Yes. Resolution number 3748 approved, so let there be light. We'll move to item H, resolution number 3749.
A resolution of the East Ridge City Council approving the selection of a firm to provide professional landscaping services for city designated outdoor spaces, conditioned upon a successfully negotiated agreement.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Collins.
Yes, Mayor and Council. The City of East Ridge issued a request for qualifications to identify experienced landscaping design and build firms for upcoming beautification enhancement projects across municipal properties, including Venue 1921 at East Ridge, which is needed now. These services will support improvements to Camp Jordan, our medians, our building entrances, other outdoor spaces as the welcome signs, City Hall. So with that, like what we did with the sign RFQ last year that Mr. Miller put together, we did this to try to help us streamline a lot of projects that we have coming up. We received 2 firms that we evaluated, which was Phillips and Chrisley and then Big Sky Landscapes. Both firms submitted strong proposals, demonstrated relevant experience, but after careful consideration, and the qualifications of the project, I did include their RFQ for your review in there of what they submitted. We, Mr. Miller, Cameron, myself, after review, are requesting that council approve us to proceed with Big Sky Landscapes as a selected contractor. And then to please note, like we do with the sign vendor now, each individual project will have to be negotiated separately to determine the scope, pricing, to ensure the flexibility, cost efficiency, and like what we've had to do with the Camp Jordan sign, we had to bring it back in front of council for you to approve it because it was over our threshold of the procurement policy. This would be the same thing.
Thank you, ma'am. Council will entertain a motion for resolution number 3749.
Make a motion to approve resolution 3749.
Second.
A motion approved by Vice Mayor Tyler and second by Councilmember Witt. Do we have any discussion?
Just so I understand it correct, every project being separate, they're gonna submit a bid to you and we either accept it or we don't, is that correct?
They're gonna submit a proposal to us, like with Venue 1921, we still have the trees to do, the landscaping around the facility over there. The irrigation's already done. That was already part of the scope, but we'll have to do, again, the landscaping. They'll put that together, submit it to Mr. Miller, and if it's over our threshold of his approvement, the 10,000, then he will bring it to you for approval. Yes, sir. Same thing with, I know that we want to do landscaping at both exit 1 signs. Cameron would get with them. They would submit a proposal. If it's over, again, the 10,000, then it comes back to you guys.
When they submitted stuff to you, are they just submitting an hourly rate, whatever how do we determine?
No, they're taking and submitting the projects they've worked on across various projects throughout the city or other places. We never, in any of the RFQs that I've been privy to and put together per Mr. Miller, them determining prices up front for projects, because we don't know what all those projects are yet. So we request their qualifications to try to determine if they're going to be the best fit for the city and what we do have coming down the stream, basically in our pipe-hole.
Just how long is this good for? That guy, this
company.
Contractor, how long is it 1 year?
We usually we look at about 3 years.
I think so is what we did, because that's what we did with Kimley Horn and the sign company.
Kimley Horn and Sign Company.
Resolution, no reason why I asked.
Got it.
just for the installation of the landscaping, and we're gonna do the maintenance?
Yes,
That'll be up to y'all, according to,
Is that
again,
what you're bidding out?
we're not bidding anything out. We requested qualifications so that they can go over there, meet with us next week. We'll put the scope of the project together and present it to Mr. Miller for like any trees, landscaping, shrubs, anything we're gonna put around the venue. If it needs special landscaping beyond what our city employees can do, we can ask this company for a maintenance contract that we can bring back to the council
yeah,
and the
we
mayor.
can look at a lot of the maintenance we're doing now around City Hall and around the community center is all done in-house.
That's what I was getting at. I
Yeah.
just can't see hiring another.
No,
We got it.
yeah, we're doing this only because if we would have had a landscaping component of this, the landscaper would be submitting a bid and then the contractor be adding his 20% on top of that. I didn't want to pay somebody else's overhead. So I said, let's just go out for an RFQ, bring on a landscaping company for several years. We'll sit down with them, tell them what we want, negotiate a price for that back and forth. If the price is acceptable, we'll bring it to council for award. We get rid of the top dog in regard to the middleman. I don't want to pay a middleman on these.
So we're gonna amend this to add a length of time?
Yes, I would suggest could we, Mark, just add 3 years, for a period of 3 years from the date of acceptance? Yeah.
The question I have there is, I do like the idea of not being locked in, but it not having a time frame in this, Mr. Attorney. Does that mean that we could just pull another RFQ anytime we want? So if we put 3, we're locked to 3. If we decide in a year we want to get another one, what's your legal opinion? See where I'm going?
Can we say as needed?
Well, you'd have to come back with another resolution
Correct.
to remove them, right?
Or that, yeah.
Yeah.
Because,
Would. Sort of getting into, we're about to get into, so this one size fits all sort of, resolution.
Hey, you prefer a time frame being in it?
I mean, you can do it yearly if you need to, if you worry about it.
I'm not worried. I was just
No,
throwing
what I'm
out that
saying is,
option.
If you didn't like it in a year, you did get another one, just renew it.
But we don't have a contract with them. So we can pull the rug at any time because again,
Yeah.
all we did was a qualification
thinking.
and every project will be negotiated
We're not doing
separately.
it, this
This
is,
isn't
we
a
don't have a
contract.
contract.
Sorry, FQ. So do we need a time frame in this resolution is my question. I mean, I know where you're going, but I'm saying, do we?
The agreement will certainly have.
Yes, the contract will for the service, but do we need?
I don't know that you need it.
Okay.
I don't know.
Just a question.
Okay.
Serve the
I know where you were going, and I'm thinking, well, if it's not in there, then we're not locked into 3 years.
Well, I didn't know because if we pass a resolution, they're in. I didn't know if we could just null and void it next week or next month or 6 months. I didn't know if we was allowed to do that.
Well, we'll have it built into the contract.
That it can be null and void when we,
So we'll put that in the contract, not in the RFQ.
gotcha.
All right, good questions. Any other?
Last question. Yeah. These, proposed projects that they may do, which part of the budget's that coming out of? Capital improvement or Parks and Rec or?
Capital improvement,
Okay. One question I had, just general question.
Is that still part of the funding that we did? Because you pulled it out of the.
The FF&E.
Yeah, is that still part of the FF&E that was in there and you decided not to bake in landscaping to bump
yeah,
the
but
20%? Is there, or is it coming out of?
we're probably, on the change orders,
Yeah,
on
change order, so it may not.
the change orders for venue 1921 is just over $300,000. That also includes $100,000 to bring the utilities in, which is really not change orders. We had to get EPB and water and sewer, all that. We had to pay for all those connections. So the $400,000, hopefully we'll be under that for contingency, and then we had another up to $400,000 for FF&E and landscaping.
Fair enough, I'm just asking.
Yeah.
If we had enough in the original
If we
budget.
don't have enough
If
in the
not, we
original,
gotta, you're gonna pull it
then we're gonna
from-
pull, yeah, we're gonna
Okay.
use the budget up first.
Correct. Got it.
And whatever we do,
Yeah.
any excess need will go to the capital improvement fund balance.
Also, on top of that, like what we did with Camp Jordan sign was after we got the sign company approved, that was actually a capital project that we put into the next year's budget. So we'll be able to plan things like that too, because that's what we did with the sign at Camp Jordan. We got the bids, negotiated all that before we put everything out, and then we put that into our budget whenever we did, because all we have is the bathrooms left to finish on that down there, so.
Okay. Any other questions? I see none. Roll call, Ms. Dietrich.
Vice Mayor Tyler?
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle?
Yes.
Councilmember Ezell? Councilmember Witt?
Yes.
Mayor Williams?
Yes, resolution number 3749 approved. We'll move to item I, discussion of amending section 5 of the charter of the city of East Ridge, Tennessee. Mr. Litchford.
Members of the council, mayor, this is an item that's come here for discussion tonight. The request was to look at section 5 of the charter, specifically with language that currently reads as follows. Get the right language in here. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'm going to basically go through and tell you. But the current text that's in there is the results of a 1992 referendum, but specifically the language that says the mayor and city council, or the mayor and council members shall be eligible for re-election by following and including the general city election in 1994. No member of the council shall serve more than a total of 12 consecutive years as mayor and/or council member, period. Nothing in this charter shall be construed as having the effect of removing an incumbent from office or abridging the term of any official prior to the end of the term for which the official was elected. And the idea there being that each term, as we know, is a 4-year term. And so the language in here stating that shall serve no more than 12 consecutive years as mayor or council member is somewhat in, I'll say, conflict. If you read it just like that where it's in the next sentence it says nothing should be construed as having the effect of removing an incumbent or abridging the term of any official prior to the end of the term for which that official was elected. In order to really understand why that's there, I had to go back to the history of this. And I went back, pulled the minutes of 1992. I even spoke with the city attorney at that time, Bill Foster, and even called Trish Perry because prior to 1992, this body was a mayor commission form of government of which all members of the commission, including the mayor, the 4 commissioners and the mayor, all were elected at the exact same time. So prior to 92, you had every 4 years a general election or municipal election of which it could have been 5 new members of the legislative body being elected, and they wanted to change that in 92. And so there was a referendum in 92, of which is the current text, which basically did the following when it was approved. It said, as of 1992, starting there, that commission mayor form of government will now be called the city council, consisting of 4 city council members and 1 mayor. Going forward, effective starting 1994, at that general election, the mayor and the 2 highest vote getters will get 4-year terms, and the 3rd and 4th place finishers would only get a 2-year term because the idea was to stagger. And so, and then going forward from there, each election thereafter was for 4-year terms. So what you were going to have is effectively 2 members of the council were only getting a 2-year term at that time in 1994 when they got elected. They only got a 2-year term. And so a way to address that, language was put in here after, of course it says you can't serve more than 12 consecutive years. Language was put in here to say, but wait a second, paraphrase, but wait a second, you can't this charter is not to be interpreted in a manner that would abridge any official who is serving at a time that 12-year period comes during that final term, provided it's consecutive. Effectively, if you read it one way, no one could really serve as it sits right now. I've actually talked to each of you all and said no one could serve more than 14 consecutive years. Actually, I probably could have said 15, because if you think about it, because if someone, just take for example, runs for city council, and there's 2 seats now that are on non-mayor years. And stated differently, there's a mayor seat that's on 2 non-council member, or on 2 council members that are not on that same year. Let's just say a council member runs, and 2 days later that council member dies. Someone gets appointed for that position, serves that out, and then decides that person wants to run for mayor. This is drafted in a way so that that person could run for that, and it not constitute a situation where when that last term is being served, that person couldn't be removed. They effectively get to finish that term out. And so there is, from a language standpoint, you got no member of the council shall serve more than a total of 12 consecutive years as mayor or council member. Could it have been worded in a manner that possibly said no member of the council shall serve more than 3 full terms as mayor and or council member, period? That might have put some clarity into it. But you got the next sentence that addresses what could happen here. But in talking, depending on how you look at it, it's got a little bit of a unique reading, because it does say 12 consecutive years as mayor or councilman. You can't serve longer than that. However, nothing in here should be construed as having the effect of removing an incumbent who is sitting in the seat from being removed by the language of this charter. And so, I mean, it took a while to go back and learn the history of this and get an understanding of what was occurring in 92. Prior to 92, at the election of 92, you had the referendum, which set forward everything in motion from there. When I talked to Bill Foster, he's down in Atlanta, I was able to talk to him. He did say, Mark, you're testing my limits. I do remember when they changed over. I had to kind of remind him as to how that worked again. He said, well, you're right, I do remember that. And his words were, well, the point of, he said, well, I don't remember writing it that way, but I do remember the situation possibly arising where you would have somebody that would have been in a term that did not get completed by way of either that person ran for mayor or that person was appointed midterm. And he said that's why that language was put in there. And so that's the history of it. What I did was try my best to go and draft, in accordance with the discussions that I'd been having, a proposal, and it's on page 1 of 5 of your packet here, that if approved would go on a ballot. What I did not know when I first got into this was the challenge in preparing a proposal that if it went on a ballot would keep the attention of the voters. I mean, that's because keep in mind, I mean, if you look at the current text, I mean, it tells you right there on the current text of it, it's quite a few paragraphs. You can see that. It passed in 1992 because I think there was a big effort to convert from commission mayor form of government to a council mayor with staggered terms. Here, I've tried to draft something so that it kind of preserves some of the historical because of the 4-year terms, and then going forward, you can see where I've got it worded such that if this were to pass, trying my best to reconcile that perceived disconnect between where the language currently says you can't serve more than 12 years, but you can also be removed if your 12-year consecutive years happens to occur while you are still in office. and can't be removed. I hope I said that well, because this is a challenging thing to explain, but it was also a challenging thing to really draft. But what I've got here is, I mean, I think I can boil it down to, but really, if you look down at the bottom of page 1 of 5, a mayor may not serve more than 3 complete terms. You could say full terms, because I define it that a full term is 4 years. And, but the mayor may not serve more than 3 complete terms as mayor, and a council member may not serve more than 3 complete terms as a council member. Period. I added a sentence that said, nothing in this charter shall be construed as having the effect of prohibiting a council member from vacating a council position to run for mayor, or a mayor from vacating that mayor position to run for a council position. I'm not aware of a situation that's happened, but I don't want to dismiss it from any possibility either. So effectively, as it's drafted here, it clarifies that you get to serve 3 full terms. There's 2 positions on this council. There's mayor and then there's council members. You get to serve 3 full terms. You're entitled to serve 3 full terms. Regardless of how you got to that position, you get 3 full terms as mayor, and you get 3 full terms as a council member.
So you're saying 24 years?
I'm saying as it's drafted, there is a possibility. I'm not saying I'm for or against it. I'm saying as drafted, there is a scenario that an individual could be. There's a scenario under this, councilman, that I guess they could serve. They could get appointed for a half term, right? And then go serve 3 terms as a council member. So there's 14 years. And turn around and serve 3 more terms as mayor. That's 26 years. I mean, I'm not saying I'm for this. I'm saying that's how I drafted in connection with discussions.
It's still, right now, you can still do that. I mean, after your 12 years is up, you can stay out 2 years, and 2 more years, you can do 12 more again. There's nothing in our charter right now that says you can't do that.
Right.
So skipping 2 years, you can still do 24.
Well, it don't say that.
But not
here.
consecutive.
It don't say
Right.
that here.
And not
Yeah,
consecutive.
you would finish your 12 and set out till the next election, and you do it again.
What if the next election, let's see. I thought the whole ideal of this change was not to have the 12 years involved. If you're elected to 1 term, and to limit it to 3 terms.
That's
Not
correct.
all right, but now we're back to 12 years. The way I'm reading this and the way I'm understanding this, he's saying that we can run 3 4-year terms but then if we drop out, then we can come back. So he's saying we can run 24 years here, but I thought you were wanting to change it to terms
I
to where
want
we
to
could
change
only
it
have,
to terms so that we don't have
make a
this
term. All right.
Like, if you get,
What issue do we have?
like, when you ran for mayor, you had
Correct.
2 years on council.
Correct.
So when you take that 12 consecutive years, that tells me 10, just talking out loud. Change it so you get 3 full terms, regardless of what you did over here. If you cut it short, when you became mayor, you would get 3 terms, period. There would be nothing in here that says 12 consecutive years. It says councilman and or mayor.
But
Now, if you take that part out, and it can be as councilman or as mayor, not and or.
But if understanding what Mr. Litchford just said, the current one, even though it may not be worded most eloquent, does that exact thing. It allows an appointed person or someone that runs midterm for another one, it allows them to do 3 full terms. Even though they had 2,
It allows you 14 years, not 12. You got to take it out if you don't want to use that and just say 14 years. But see, like in Andy's case, appointed years shouldn't count.
Right.
Shouldn't be even factored in because she was appointed to finish your term. So she should have her 2 and 3 more
Which I
terms.
do.
But the wording currently does that already.
But
the-
hers don't count. You were elected and had 2, and elected, and it keeps adding up. Just fix the language. Because the way I read it, honestly, you couldn't run again because you can't fulfill a 4-year term. You shouldn't be able to if it's 12 consecutive years. You see what I'm saying? I know it sounds weird, but when it says you cannot do more than 12 consecutive years, how can you run for another term if it would take you to 14?
Is that what with the sentence that's
To the second
added,
sentence.
abridge a term, right? It's, you can't shorten one, so if you get elected to that 4-year term, it can't be abridged. So essentially, it's
14.
building in a soft 12, a hard 14.
Yeah, well, since it affects me, because I am the person that was appointed, and it affects my position because I'm also elected in a non-mayoral election, I'd like to read what I wrote. For 33 years, we have followed this charter. I do not feel we need to change the charter as it plainly allows someone in the council or mayor position to run while they are in their elected term. Someone may want to step up to the mayor position, and someone may decide to step down from the mayor position to remain on the council. The charter accounts for the 12 years to be extended to 14 years to avoid removing someone in the middle of their elected term. Jeff and I are examples. We were elected in 2024. The mayor's position does not end until 2026. I was appointed to fill the council seat when we elected a new mayor in 2018. Based on the charter to date, I could run in 2028 as I have served 10 years. In Jeff's situation, if he chose to run for mayor in 2026 or 2030, this charter would allow him to serve 14 years and not be penalized for running in 2024 as a council member. Correct? I am not for revising the charter. This would affect people running for election in the off-mayor election years should be decided in the off-mayor elections years should they decide to run for mayor after being elected to the council. I encourage all citizens to look at running for office. It is important to see council members step up and run for mayor. Their experience on the council is vital when accepting the position. I do not want to discourage citizens from running in off-year mayor elections, and we do not want to discourage council members from running for mayor by limiting their term to less than 12 months. I have been on the council for 6 years, and no one has ever brought this to my attention. My concern is why is this being brought up, and who will be affected in the next election by these changes? And that's my concern.
But it doesn't really affect you.
It does.
Appointed years don't count. You're still good to 3 terms.
It affects
And-
my position, and it affects your position.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does,
does
because
it do
you're
that?
running on a non-elected mayor term. If you decide to run for mayor,
Mhm.
and say you ran this next one, and you get it, then you're not gonna get your full 3 elected times.
It tells you if you were elected, you get 3 terms of that election.
Well, if it tells you that, why are we changing
I'm talking
it?
about the new one. It says you get 3 terms. I don't care if you're here
To me, the
10
old
years
one-
and you decide to run for mayor on your 10th year, you get 3 terms as mayor if
The
you
old one
win.
tells you that too. It just says you're just not
The old
going
one
to
says,
be
"and
ousted
or."
in the middle of your term.
Right, but that would only give you 1 term. Would that not be correct?
Mark?
Let's say,
Right, yes. The answer is yes. If she on her 10th year said, I want to run for mayor,
yes,
she'd be entitled to run for
One
one
term.
term for mayor.
that's it.
Right.
And I think what Councilman Ezell is saying under his version is you could go and run and serve for
3 terms.
3 full terms
as mayor.
for
I
mayor.
think-
So that would effectively allow you 22 years.
I don't see that we need to change the 12-year limit term. You can step out for 2 years and then you can run again. It's the citizens that
Yeah, several
vote you
people have done
in,
that, stepped out
not,
and
you know,
that's
They
actually term
decide.
limited and ran
Yeah.
again. Several's
Yeah.
done that.
Yeah.
Danny Manning did it.
Denny Manning did that. God bless him. I have a question. So this will be a referendum. Referendums have to be on a general election ballot. When is the nearest general election for the citizens of East Ridge? Is it November or is it August? Because I know August is
Early election, what you're talking about,
It'd be the November election.
The November
the
election.
November election.
Right,
of next year.
right, 2026.
Thank you for the clarification.
Personally, I'm just not in favor of allowing 24 years.
No.
After, I'm comfortable with the way it's written. After the explanation, you can, yes, it may be 10 years that you have served and you've got elected by the citizens. That gives you 14. You haven't served 12. It says 12, and served no more than 12 consecutive. Well, you haven't served 12 consecutive at the time of the election. It would only been 10 in these cases. And then the next sentence clearly says you cannot be removed. So you could get 14. I'm fine with that, but I'm not too keen on allowing 24-year. I think that's kind of where you were going earlier too. You mentioned.
That's what I was saying about 3 years, the terms instead of years. But then I've got another question. Say all of a sudden I have to step down because of medical leave. I'm using myself. And I don't finish my 12 years term. Y'all appoint someone within the guidelines, 30 days, 90 days, okay? Then come next November 26th, I decide I want to run again.
There's nothing that says you can't.
So,
But
yeah, I mean, the letter as it's written right now the letter of it does not prevent that.
would that be for 12 more consecutive years?
Yes.
I mean,
Okay.
now I would
Okay.
tell you that the letter of it, but when you
Which
go
would
back
give him
to the
23.
history
Yeah, but he's,
and read the
What is-
history, I don't think the spirit was intended to allow, right, I mean, and that's one that, kind of like we just talked about with that, it is very challenging, particularly this this took a long time to try to get a one-size-fits-all scenario, but, because even under mine, I mean, you could take the proposal I have right now, and you can't serve more than 3 complete terms as mayor. I guess if we're gonna take it to that question, is somebody could step down the last month of their term, or whatever, step down 6 months before the term date, pick up papers and qualify again, and keep doing that over and over and say, well, just so happens I never seem to finish even a single term. I come up 3 months short, but just in time that I can still pick up papers. I mean, that could happen under this version. Under your scenario, when I say this version, I'm sorry, my example could happen under the proposed. Your example could happen under the current or even the proposed. But I don't think that meets the spirit of what, when you look at the history in 1992 of what occurred. I do think that the framer, Mr. Foster, for what it's worth, have known several years, a wonderful man and a brilliant individual. I think he was contemplating a scenario, particularly with all elections being at the same time as of 1994, starting staggered terms, knowing that 2 positions would be off mayor years. As he said, Mark, I don't know that I remember all this, but I would have put it in there for addressing. Why it says 12 consecutive years as mayor is rather challenging when the next sentence says, but nothing here shall be construed as abridging a term. I'll bet if he had a chance to write it again, he might have said, no member of the council shall serve more than a total of 3 full consecutive terms as mayor and or council member. But I don't know that that really gets you, buttons it up, because, again, someone might step down for 5-6 months. Are they then allowed to come back under the letter of it? They would.
Well, it seems like it's almost impossible to come up with a resolution.
This was.
So
it's-
I withdraw my question to you back in the past, try to figure out how to make that wording correct. Because it appears like we
Well-
can't make this wording correct.
I think there's loopholes in anything.
I agree.
And
I was
this
trying
is
to end the loopholes.
I
and
understand.
there wouldn't be no question about the 3 terms you get to run. Doesn't
well,
matter what you did on
and
council.
that spirit is appreciated. I will say that this has worked for 35 years, and we haven't had an issue. So I understand where you were going with that, but again, I think with the clarity that you brought to the table and the research that was done, I think we know that.
I mean, I don't love the language. I'm with Councilman Easdale. Although I do like Mr. Foster, I think the world of that gentleman. He is one class individual.
Sure was.
He was a genius, and his son is just a dear friend. But, you know,
But as it current is, there is a term limit. It is 12 consecutive years. However, there is the second sentence, so the maximum could ever be would be 14 unless you have a medical and do, you know.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, the maximum could
so-
be technically 15 if someone drops out after year 1 of serving.
Well, that's true.
I mean, it could be
And even
15 and 300 days. I mean, it's, but the maximum is, there is, at least as it's,
well, if you want to get that technical about it, someone could do 12 and then 11, step out and step back in, and they could get another 24. It's because they have 35 years.
no, I mean, that's
Right
kind of.
now you can do
Yeah,
that,
that's-
though.
At that point,
We can do
Father
that.
Time is taking steps.
Yeah, I
in.
mean,
Yeah.
and I think the idea there is
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, who would
Councilwoman
want to do
Witt
that
said,
many?
is
Not me.
The voters.
The voters.
If the
True.
voters
Let
vote
the
you
voters,
in,
yeah.
I don't think the voters will let that happen.
Yeah, I
That's
think,
what
I
they
think
cut.
I
trusting
really
the
don't- I
voters
wouldn't
on
see
that,
Yeah.
they were,
May I give a little history on on what he just read about? Okay, back when this file come up from commission to council. I don't know if any of y'all were around here, voted in it or anything, but the commissioners were over each department, okay? They had what they called a city administrator. Had no power other than, he didn't even have, he couldn't run day to day, like Mr. Miller does. He runs day-to-day duties. City administrator couldn't. Well, the citizens kind of pushed this thing to get rid of the commissioners. We had a commissioner, fire, police, library, dog pound, the vehicle maintenance garage, I think was, because I was over it, and it was combined into the library, which I don't know how we ever got put in the library, but anyway, people wanted to have responsibility put on one person that we could come and talk to, instead of coming to talk to, say David was the commissioner of fire and police. We didn't go talk to the chief, or we didn't go talk to the city manager, we went and talked to the commissioner. What he said went. So that was the history of this thing being changed. Because I was there and I voted in it.
No, I
Okay.
tested Miss Diedrich to, she had to go to some records of which she found of the papers are fairly together now, but she was able to find it. But, yeah, I get Councilman Ezel's thoughts of it. Just, it's tough to reconcile sentence 1 versus sentence 2. And perhaps with Mr. Foster, I'll get him a nice cocktail, and maybe I'll ask him once he's had 1 or 2, would you prefer it said 3 consecutive full terms or something? He probably, maybe he might say that probably would have
Been easier language.
fit
easier
a
understood.
little better. Would it have gotten you to that, like Councilman said, would it have buttoned up? Because you, like you just said, and Councilman Cagle, there's people that perhaps they can't finish a term. They bow out of that term 6 months early, but they're miraculously better 3 months later. They pick up papers. They could serve 12 more consecutive years. But at some point, the voters are pretty intelligent.
They are.
And they
Yeah.
recognize that's not what they want. But I mean, this one was a challenge.
If we go by this, now this is just for discussion, no, it's a resolution ordinance today.
It's. I only did the draft. I was trying to
Okay,
get my
okay,
thinking
well,
straight.
Yeah, it's a
I'd like to
discussion.
throw this out. If, say, I decide I want to run for mayor this election, okay? Then I think that I need to resign my seat as councilman, leave that seat open for a person to run for my seat instead of the new council and commission coming in and having to appoint one right off the bat the first night. So I'd like to see that person have to resign their seat to be able to run.
So like a midterm, like, so if you're
Yeah,
midterm?
yeah.
But what if they don't win, then they would still
Well,
be
then,
able to keep their seat?
they're out for changing their mind.
No, I
That-
meant,
That's what the whole thing's
now
about.
they would still be able to keep their
Yeah.
seat
Yes,
if they
what,
didn't
what,
win the.
what Councilman Cagle's saying,
Right.
they would lose that ability, and that's all, would have to be written into the charter, that's all.
See?
Every
Yeah,
charter's
that's what I'm
different.
saying, that's what
I
we're.
had that same language when I was in College Park.
Yeah, but now you're penalizing
That's what
a
I'm saying.
sitting
Yeah.
council member that may want to run for mayor and may be a good mayor,
Right.
but they may be scared to run because if they don't win, now they're completely off the council. So it's a two-edged sword. I understand where you're going, but I don't know if I agree with that or not.
That would
But we have
discourage-
been very honest and we've always used the person that had been the next highest vote getter is the
Oh,
one that we've
but we
appointed.
have done it the last two times.
Yes, yeah. So, I don't know, I got a little mixed emotions about that too. I mean, everything can be construed differently. I understand your comment.
Because if I'm running for mayor, I've lost interest in the council's job.
Well, I don't know if I agree with
No,
that.
But what I'm saying is, for that time of the election, I'll be putting my mind
Oh, I see.
on that instead of sitting here trying to do city business.
Yeah, well, see, Jackie, you could run for mayor next year and you would get
Not next
14
year.
years.
Not next year.
No,
Not next year, I have to sit out 2 years.
Oh, well, that's true.
Yeah, so the way it is.
he's,
right now.
he's on the same cycle, isn't he?
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
on the same cycle.
Mhm. But I just, throw that out there to,
Yeah, so it's
No,
jail.
Yeah.
Any other discussion?
Heck, no.
Heck, no. It's 8:30, you sure?
I'm lost. Start.
Okay, that is the last item on the regular agenda, so now we'll move to the discussion of the tentative agenda of October the 23rd, 2025. Under old business, we'll have a public hearing for ordinance number 1234 and then the ordinance 1234. This will be the second and final reading, and this is the ordinance adopted for the purpose of amending the City of East Ridge, Tennessee Municipal Code, ordinance regulating development within the corporate limits of the City of East Ridge to minimize danger to life and property due to flooding and to maintain eligibility for participations in the National Flood Insurance Program. Mr. Howell, do you want to come brief us again? I'm kidding, I'm kidding.
Has it
Is
changed
it-
any?
Any questions?
It says we have to have two hearings. We had a hearing last time about it, correct? For the first reading, we had a hearing, right?
No, we didn't have a hearing today. Today was the first
No.
reading.
Okay, my fault. Okay.
All right. So you have to have the hearing, either the first or at least before the second. So this one got moved to the second.
Keep this short, really short. It was part of ordinance 41, which is the municipal zoning code. The flood ordinance sits in it, so it had to go to the planning commission first. So Mark wanted to have a separate, since it was on the both same week, have the reading on the next council meeting, so.
And that just came out of planning commission this week,
past Monday.
last week?
This past Monday, it came in, yes.
Yep, this week. Any questions?
yeah. Mr. Howell, when you talked to them down at the county, I was listening to one of their council meetings on TV, and they were discussing the flood, the FEMA insurance, and then they got to discussing about trying to figure out a way to cut down on density due to the project they got going out China they're having a big hassle about. But they were discussing about how much could be built on the floodplain, amending their thing to where, in other words, I can't come in and fill up over 50% of a quarter of an acre lot to build. Now, do we know if they passed that?
That I don't know, Jackie, because of the simple fact that each municipality had their flood ordinance reviewed by FEMA and TEMA. That might have been something that Hamilton County wanted to change in their flood ordinance, where East Ridge, of course, we don't have anything like that, but I'm not aware if that ever got approved.
Well, they were talking about it with their RPAs or whatever. And so I was just wondering.
I can check on it, though.
Any other questions? All right, under new business, an unnumbered ordinance, rezone the parcel located at 416 Donaldson Road, tax map ID number 156E-L-009 from R1 Residential District to R2 Residential Duplex District.
Yes, Mayor and Council, this went in front of the Planning Commission this past Monday. The Planning Commission did approve it. This is simply just, it's a non-conforming structure seeking conform, that's all.
Yep. Legal non-conforming. Any questions? I see none. The next one is a unnumbered ordinance to rezone the parcel located at 1438 North Smith Street, tax map ID 169K-A-014 from RT1 Residential Townhome District to R1 Residential District. This will be the first reading. Mr. Howell?
Yes, Mayor and Council, this one came before City Council in 2023 where it was a split zone, actually it's R1 and C1. The applicant wanted to rezone to RT1, which City Council did approve for 3 townhomes. The property has now been sold, and this new applicant wants to build one dwelling on it, which would rezone back to R1.
So this is the property that came and they wanted 4, and then I had a concern with it, and we downsized to 3 for parking. That did pass by this council, and now it's been sold, and he wants to revert it back to R1, which I'm excited about that.
Yeah, you don't see that
100% correct.
That was
Yes.
good.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's one of the lots like I'm talking about. This one is about 50% in the floodplain or floodway.
I'd have to check and see if this one is in the special flood hazard area, Jackie. I'm not quite sure if it is or not.
I don't know that,
McDonald's.
it's the one right behind McDonald's.
Yeah, I know where it is, but I
Yeah.
thought I read in it that it was on the thing that I got.
Says,
That part of it was. I didn't read it in here. It's something else I had.
be the second
Okay.
page of the RP. I know.
All right. We can, I guess we can check into that. Any other questions on that one? See none. The next one's an unnumbered resolution, a resolution authorizing the city manager to issue a request for qualifications for development of a stormwater management plan. Mr. Miller?
Yeah, I did not get, didn't have the time due to a medical situation I had to deal with, to get the RFQ completed, but I'll have this on for the October 23rd meeting for your review and consideration.
Thank you, sir. Council, any questions? See none. The next one is an unnumbered resolution to amend the 2025 Christmas holiday schedule.
Okay, let me pull up my, okay, pursuant to our employee rules regulations, we get Christmas Eve day, which is December 24th, and Christmas Day off, which is December 25. This year, December 24th falls on a Wednesday, December 25th on a Thursday, but everybody's gonna have to come to work on 26th or take the day off. And talking to my employees, at least all the department directors, brought it to their attention, and they wanted us to consider Christmas Day, the 25th, and Friday, the 26th, those 2 days off, so they could have a 4-day weekend.
So adjust the 24th and Christmas Eve and Christmas Day to be Christmas Day and the day after.
Exactly, for this year.
Yeah,
Yes.
move 24 for the 26th.
That's what this is
Okay.
about.
Any questions, council? That's the last item. I do have one thing, actually, there should be 2 things. One is, while we're talking about the Christmas holiday schedule, do we need to go ahead and talk about not having a council meeting on the 25th?
Thanksgiving.
No, Thanksgiving is automatic.
Oh, okay.
Automatic, yes.
It's the Christmas, it's the
25th, yeah.
second one in December that is not automatic. So if we don't cancel it, we'll need to be here on Christmas Day, Christmas night. So can you want to add that one?
Add that, yes.
I'm sorry?
That might be the only one I missed.
We might all miss it.
I'll be here.
Yeah, buddy.
So let's add that one. And
Yes.
then the other one I know of is you were talking about the community center. That was a painful one, but we've got the additional change orders. Is that
Yes,
what you're
that'll-
talking about?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
The other 85K,
Yes. And
then you got something else?
yes, I have, we got the test and balance done on the system, HVAC system over at the animal shelter. Everything's hunky-dory, taken care of. And I have a service agreement for the animal shelter that I want to bring back to city council at the next meeting.
Service agreement on the air AC?
For 4 or 5 years, like we just did,
Right, on the sound system?
I'm sorry?
On the sound system we did?
No, on the HVAC system with Train. On the, for the
Right, but
animal
it's similar
shelter.
to a maintenance agreement like we did with the sound system.
Yes.
But this is for the
This
HVAC
is
for the
this is
animal
for
shelter.
HVAC, yes.
And that is working properly now?
Yes, it has been tested and balanced. We had a whole slew of issues we had with the HVAC. Our JDC mechanical, along with one of our full-time employees who watched everything. They spent 4 days going through that whole system from one end to the other. Took care of all the deficiencies that were outlined by the mechanical contractor that we had through our architect on the project.
And we don't have any rooms that are freezing? And,
Everything's tested and balanced now.
okay,
Got the
just
report.
asking. Anything else?
That's it.
Council, anything else?
Can we still hear the dogs bark?
We actually brought, yeah, you're gonna hear some of that. We actually went over there, Clint, and what did we say? We had readings of 120, 130 decibel. And then when we tested it, when the sound wall was constructed, we were at what, 70 or 80? So we did decrease the decibel readings, but you can still hear the dogs.
Still have complaints about it?
Not as loud, but
Do you-
decibel readings.
Do you
were
still have
substantial.
complaints?
Still have complaints?
I haven't received.
After we talked to them, basically what we did was we went over to the apartment complex on the sidewalk, which was immediately adjacent to that one wall of the closest wall to the animal shelter. The pre-readings were higher. After all the soundproofing, basically it's over there is conversational level. I mean, you'll still hear the dogs barking, but it's not the piercing, interrupting your day barking. It's a conversational level of noise.
So maybe no more than a dog in a adjacent yard or a regular neighborhood?
3 yards down.
Okay,
I mean, it's considerably better and improved.
awesome.
You haven't had any complaints from, since the sound, I haven't either.
And we had the one contact there that was speaking for most of the residents there, and she seems to be appeased.
Yes.
Good. Good question. Anything else, council?
Does anybody know when the state's gonna be through out there? I was asked that tonight.
State,
Interstate.
Oh, the interstate.
I will basically say at our meeting, it was mentioned that, they're looking at April of 2026. And I said, can I get that in writing? And
April 2026, is
Did
that
it right-
including the train crossing? Is that where,
what, this is I-24? Are you talking about I-24 and 75 and the
split, yeah.
terraces?
Yeah.
April 26. Now, that was,
so their late summer of 25 went out the window with, it
oh, God, yes.
it got washed away
Oh,
with the
yeah,
flood.
yeah, well, no, yeah.
I dare ask, is anything else? I hear nothing and see nothing. This meeting's adjourned. Have a good evening.